Mick Ralphs, founding member of Bad Company and Mott the Hoople, has died at the age of 81. He helped Paul Rodgers write this one. Ralphs set to become a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Bad Company in November. He hasn't been the same since suffering a stroke in 2016 and passed away yesterday at the age of 81. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Well, the drive home or to work, depending on when you work during this time of day, or if you don't, the drive home or to work is starting to build bumper to bumper around the downtown loop. Now, right now, 65 northbound at Rosa Parks Boulevard, we got a crash there at exit 85. Police also reporting one at 440 eastbound past Nolensville Pike. And then again in Berry Hill, 65 northbound near I-440, that's exit 80. The left lane is blocked by that crash, 65 northbound. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
.307 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. I'm not Matt Murphy. He is still recovering. The man, he carries the team on his back, and it shredded his shoulder, so they put him into surgery. 5.5 hours. He's got a nice, shiny Chinese shoulder now. It's from Temu. He said he's doing great, and he's very excited to have a little bit of time off. He earned it. But I came up with an idea while he was gone.
What's that, Brother Hand?
I said, Matt, we should have the medicated moment with Murphy.
Yes, sir.
That's what we should do. We should do it every day. And
yes, sir.
He's like, oh, I love that idea. He's been just blowing me up with voice notes today.
He can't stand it.
He's got a lot of things to say to you people. He's got a lot. Today's medicated moment with Matt Murphy. It's a very fine one. It's very topical. The guy can't stay away from the headlines. So without further ado, I just want to bring to you guys just everybody misses him. Everybody wants Matt here. I get it. I do too. So I want to bring you a little bit of Murphy. This is our first ever medicated moment. Okay, medicated, highly medicated. the man is overly medicated. It's a medicated moment with Matt Murphy.
I'm of the opinion that if the President of the United States of America, the leader of the free world, the most important human being on planet Earth, gets to lay down the F-bomb anywhere he wants, then I ought to be able to lay down the F-bomb on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. How about that? What do you think about that, Chris Hand?
Well, I'm glad he didn't do it because I didn't proofread it before I played it.
Oh no!
I definitely was biting my fingernails there for a minute, Matt. I'm just gonna let you. Don't worry, I'll listen to all the other ones now. No, I've learned my lesson.
Fiddlesticks.
I've learned my lesson. Yeah, what F word was he talking about? Does anybody know? Was there an F word heard around the world today?
Oh, there was.
Gee whiz. It's been a busy day, hasn't it? Yesterday I was telling you guys I don't do afternoons often. Normally I do 9 to noon. Okay, I work at the same time you work. So if you don't often hear my show, you can always catch it on Apple and Spotify if you want to see the podcast. Right? It's always there. You can always catch it on YouTube. Yada yada yada. But a lot of times I can prep my show the night before because I roll in. It's 9 o'clock. Nothing's popping off yet. Nothing's crazy's happening. I can do it the night before. And my wife had said to me on Sunday, she's like, "You're gonna have to redo your whole show prep. You're gonna have to redo everything." And I was like, probably not. And then no, I did. And so I didn't make the same mistake twice. And I'm ready. I'm ready today. I prepped all morning, and it was a busy morning, man. It was an absolutely insane morning. So there was a ceasefire yesterday. Then there wasn't a ceasefire. Then there was a ceasefire. We didn't want regime change. Maybe we wanted a little regime change. We didn't want regime change. People are mad that there wasn't a war. There's people that were also mad that there was a war. Are you up to speed yet? Did I catch everything? I think that's all of it. We can wrap it up, boys. We can go home. The day was insane. As one would expect. You have Donald Trump. You have neocons, you have liberals. The hysteria is going to ensue. So we kick things off first thing in the morning. Donald Trump, he's heading to NATO, and he's very excited. He's going to NATO, and I think this is a good thing. I think this is where we need to start refocusing a lot of our energy. Did you see what he posted on Truth Social though? He's already taking jabs. He's already taking jabs at the NATO losers. Listen, losers, you got to pay up. He said, head into NATO, where At worst, it will be a much calmer period than what I just went through with Israel and Iran. I'm looking forward to seeing all of my very good European friends and others. Hopefully much will be accomplished. I love the and others. You know who he's talking about, Macron. We know. So Donald Trump has arrived in NATO, in the Netherlands for NATO. He took some questions while he was on Air Force One from reporters, and he was just chopping it up with the press, as he often does. There was no handlers nearby, nobody telling him who to call on, nobody telling him what the question was, nobody telling him what to say. Donald Trump talking about the world leaders that he's going to be seeing at the NATO summit.
We should pay what everyone else, they're in Europe, we're not. A lot of that money goes to rebuilding their bridges, their roads, so it can take heavy equipment. And, we don't have any roads in Europe. We don't have any bridges in Europe. So, no, it wouldn't be quite the same thing for us. But we're with them.
Are you still committed to Article 5 of NATO?
It depends on your definition. There's numerous definitions of Article 5. You know that, right? But I'm committed to being their friends. I've become friends with many of those leaders, and I'm committed to helping them.
What do you want the role of NATO to be going forward once these other countries are spending more?
By having a unified system, I think we're going to have stronger peace, better peace, and I think we have that.
I mean, the goal is going to be peace at NATO. Now that Iran and Israel has been, for the most part, for the time being, calm down. The next goal is going to be ending the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It has to be, right? Getting NATO to pay their fair share also has to be high up there on the list of things to do while Donald Trump convenes with all the other world leaders. It's going to be a busy few days for Donald Trump. Are you going to see Zelensky while you're there? I think that's a reasonable question, one that was asked of him on Air Force One. Are you going to see him? Are you going to say anything to one Vladimir Zelensky? And Trump said, yeah, I'll say hi.
Do you think you'll meet with Zelensky when you're there?
Yeah, probably. I'll see him. Yeah.
What would you say to
Say, how you doing? He's in a tough situation. Should have never been there.
What would you say to him? I'll say, how you doing? How's it hanging? Are you still having a good time? How you doing? I love it.
Probably I'll say to him, yeah.
What would you say to him?
Say, how you doing?
How you doing? I don't know why. I spent a good 20 minutes playing this clip this morning while I was doing show prep. I'll say, how you doing?
How you doing?
Are you happy with everything? Everything good? No? Russia's still eating your lunch? Yeah? Want to come back to the table and talk peace? Yeah? Oh, good. Sit down. So we do expect that NATO allies are going to be committing to that 5% GDP. This has long been discussed. The U.S. ambassador to NATO, Matt Whitaker, was on Fox News this morning, and he was talking about this as well, saying that tomorrow's going to be a big day. We do expect that all the NATO allies are going to ante up, if you will.
Tomorrow, we expect that all 32 NATO allies will agree to a new path, and that path, that commitment, is going to be 5% of their GDP on defense. And, it is historic. It is probably one of the biggest foreign policy wins of this administration, of any administration. And then we're going to spend the time building out the capacity and the capabilities of the United States, and especially our allies here in Europe, so that they can take over the traditional defense of the European continent. And
about damn time. We don't need to be the world police any longer. I think that we've shown that we can do it if we need to, just given the recent events over the weekend. Yeah, we absolutely can step up should it need to be done. We don't want to. We shouldn't be ponying up for every other country in NATO. They should be paying their fair share, and it looks like that's going to happen. Now, while the Trump administration does have an eye forward to the future, it seems like the mainstream media is really focused on what happened just a few days ago. And a lot of the conversation has been about Israel and Iran. That has been dominating the news cycle, as you would imagine. And it just seems like everybody's caught between a rock and a hard place on how to attack Donald Trump on this. You see, you have neocons who are mad that there wasn't enough war. You have liberals that were mad that there was any war. And then you have the MAGA core in the middle going like, oh, this is fine, actually. That actually worked out pretty nice. Believe it or not, we're good with this. But Donald Trump made sure to give credit where credit was due. While he was on Air Force One, he once again saluted the brave military members, the amazing planes that flew that mission, and the guys and gals that made it all possible. This was Donald Trump earlier today on his way to the NATO summit.
And I will tell you, the last thing on their minds is nuclear weapons. They don't even want to think about nuclear. And our B-2 pilots made this all possible. They had a magnificent hit in the dark of night with no moon, no light, no nothing. They hit the target perfectly, wiped it out. And the press is very disrespectful. I saw CNN fake news going, well, maybe it wasn't a perfect hit, it was perfect.
Don't you love how that just rolls off the tongue now? CNN fake news. It's like one thing now. It's just CNN fake news. Yeah, I heard CNN fake news. I heard him.
Maybe it wasn't a perfect hit, it was perfect. They said maybe it did destroy it. We agree it did destroy it, but maybe it could have destroyed it more. No, it couldn't have destroyed it more. Everyone hit, and it's very disrespectful to those great geniuses and patriots that flew those planes through tremendous danger. So CNN and MSDNC are a disgrace. And so are the others. I mean, they're pretty much all a disgrace.
And you, by the way. Who do you work for? Yeah, you guys haven't messed up enough yet, but you're probably teetering on the line. I don't like any of you. You're all awful. But he was in much better spirits on Air Force One on the way to the NATO summit than he was when the press caught him on the White House lawn. When they caught him on the White House lawn, headed to, I think it was Marine One at the time, he was very upset. I mean, there was a ceasefire agreement yesterday. And everybody opined. Ooh, Iran said that they're not gonna. They didn't agree to the ceasefire. You're right. Do you remember that? That happened yesterday, like late. Iran didn't agree. Oh yeah, Iran didn't agree. You're right. Iran said there's no ceasefire deal, but if Israel stops bombing us, we too will stop. Oh, Iran didn't agree to a ceasefire. Okay. And then you had a bit of an exchange of missiles. There was a bit of a volley, and everybody said, See, see, there's no ceasefire, completely ignoring the fact that Donald Trump had built in a timetable to the ceasefire agreement when he posted it on Truth Social. That's, hey, let's ignore that. But then there was a bit of a late volley, and Donald Trump was pissed. He was absolutely pissed on the White House lawn this morning. And most of his anger was directed towards Israel for violating that ceasefire agreement. And Donald Trump didn't hold back, and he didn't hold back against the media or anybody else. It was a long exchange.
I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous.
These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous. These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous. He's absolutely right. And then it escalated a little bit further, and it was the F-bomb that everyone heard all around the world. Our friends over at Fox 17 edited this one for me, so I'll play the video for you if you're watching on the YouTube stream. All the audio that we play on the radio show, by the way, on the YouTube stream will have the video elements in case you want to hop over there, watch the show, like, and subscribe. But this was the F-bomb that was heard around the world.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
They don't know what the bleep they're doing. Now, to be fair, I think I should be allowed to play that on the radio. I do. Is Donald Trump's FCC going to come after me for playing unedited Donald Trump? I don't know if they would. And I think I should be allowed to play that on the air, but going to follow the rules for now. Maybe we can play the unedited version on the stream during the commercial break. Do you know how to do that? I've done it with Mason before.
I think we can, yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll figure it out. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, we'll bring you the unedited rant during the commercial break. Just another reason to hop over there, hit like, hit subscribe. My name is Chris Hand. I'm going to be in for Matt Murphy all week long. What's your instant reaction to the chaos of the day? 615-737-9986. Happy to turn the monologue into a dialogue a la Matt Murphy. Get your phone calls in if you want to join the conversation. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, Father's Day is come and gone, and hopefully many of you got out to Volunteer Outfitters in Hendersonville and got your dad something special at a great store at a great price. In Hendersonville, they've got Southern Marsh, Drake, Huck, and so many of the other name brands that you pay a lot more for in the city of Nashville or some of those cities south than you do in Hendersonville. Plus, they are open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 4. You know, Tuesday's always free T-shirt Tuesday. You buy anything in the store, you get a free T-shirt at Volunteer Outfitters. Give them a call if you're wondering if they've got something. I mean, they got stuff for the fisherman. They've got stuff for the hunter, and obviously for the outdoorsman, generally speaking, the golfer in your life. They got great things there. Plus, ask about my cocktail shirt. Tommy convinced me to buy a cocktail shirt the last time I was there. Actually, he bought it for me, which is kind of nice. I don't know one for you, but let's find out together. Tommy and Volunteer Outfitters are great people, and you can find them on New Shackle Island Road in Hendersonville.
All right, we're live back on the stream. I'm going to play this clip for you unedited real quick. This is Donald Trump with those reporters dropping the F-bomb heard around the world today.
In the first hour, just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
He's just an absolute savage. It's a little stream exclusive for you here on Super Talk. Appreciate you guys. Hit like, hit subscribe, all right? Thank you.
Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, Dr. Kevin Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team, they want to alleviate pain. That's what it's all about at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, is finding ways to alleviate your pain without complicating your life with surgical options, right? Because you want that to be the final option. And obviously, surgery is not a bad word, and sometimes folks need it. I need it on my shoulder, but I don't need it on my lower back. I used spinal decompression. Thank you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I've made the switch, and so many others are making the switch as well. Right now, you can get your first consultation for just $34. That's in honor of our president. The old 47, they tried to throw 34 felonies on him, and we weren't having any of that. And so, in honor of that, they're rolling back prices to $34. That gives you your first consultation, x-rays, and your first treatment. $34. Go to painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. The Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval.
A Middle Tennessee man upset over a failed relationship makes threats against a Walmart. We'll tell you about that at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on air. I actually tweeted out this video a little while ago. Did you see the video I tweeted out? It's totally unrelated to the news, but it'll make you smile. There was a couple of women in New York City, and they got into a street fight with broomsticks. So somebody on the internet took the video and they edited in lightsabers.
I love this.
It may be the second best thing you'll see on the internet all day. At Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. So I'm in for Matt Murphy all week. Again, he is recovering from his shoulder surgery, and we got a lot of news to get to for you today. You want to join the conversation, 615-737-9986. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm a little bit surprised about the pushback I'm seeing on the text line of Donald Trump using the F word. Quite a few people, John in Lawrenceburg, love Trump, hate the language. He should be better. Vulgarity is unnecessary, unprofessional, and unbecoming of a president. It is nothing to promote or celebrate, Chris. Okay, I'm sorry. But then I got to the other side of the aisle. It says, play the unedited version on Matt's show. I like it. All right. How do you feel about that? Should Donald Trump be swearing? I think that there's a time and a place for things, right? Like, I don't think he's casually doing it a la Jasmine Crockett to seem tough and street. I think it's coming out of a place of sheer frustration and anger with the situation that he has in front of him. I didn't think that it was out of place or unwarranted. I thought it fit the moment. I don't know. Maybe you have a different opinion. 615-737-9986. Again, you're more than welcome to join the conversation. A lot of people are saying, no, I love it. It shows that he's human. That's what 0566 just texted. It shows he's human. I think it shows he's human too. But hey, if you disagree, I'd love to hear from you. 615-737-9986. The frustration came from the ceasefire that was in place that wasn't being followed. And Donald Trump, he got on Truth Social, and his anger was absolutely directed at Israel for the most part. And he let off a tweet storm. Have you felt like these past couple days on Truth Social, like we're back to that old school 2016 3 a.m. tweet storm from Trump where it would just absolutely change the news cycle? I feel like we're almost there. We're not quite there yet, but these past couple days, the truths have been coming out fast and furious. And I'll tell you what, when Donald Trump posted, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. On Truth Social, it was one of those moments. And you know what happened when he posted that truth? Well, fun fact, Israel listened. The planes didn't drop the bombs. They turned around. They went home. Donald Trump said, don't worry, don't worry. They're just doing a nice little plane wave. That was the next message. They're just going to do a little plane wave. Just a plane wave. Oh, yeah. We do plane waves all the time. People do plane waves. He said Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The Truth Social posts are definitely hitting that next level, like where we were in 2016. It definitely feels reminiscent of those tweets that would absolutely change and dominate the news cycle. I don't know if you got your notifications on for a Trump truth. I do.
I have to as a newsman.
You got to do it.
I got to have it.
You got to do it. The people need it. The people demand it. It's 3:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Heat index now over 100 degrees here in downtown Nashville. Some of us could see upwards of 109 degrees today. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, reports say a man is under arrest. He's been charged for making threats of mass violence against a Walmart in Hendersonville. Police say they were told of these threats of a mass shooting sent to the Walmart on North Anderson Lane. Police say it led them to 37-year-old Patrick Yerringer as the suspect. They say he was angry over a failed relationship and decided to harass an employee there at the store. He's being held on a $200,000 bond pending a court hearing July 9th. That fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to be holding for now, but earlier today, both sides launched strikes against one another. This as there are questions as to how much of Iran's nuclear program was decimated by the U.S. strike over the weekend. At the State Department, spokesperson Tammy Bruce said she agreed with President Trump's assessment that it was totally destroyed.
President Trump has indicated his pleasure at the success of that raid, which obviously was very limited in scope. And that's a very good point, I think, at when it comes to the nature of what's occurred, and I'm pleased that the president is pleased.
Well, the New York Times is reporting what it claims are classified findings indicating the attack sealed off the entrances to two facilities but did not collapse their underground buildings, setting back Iran's nuclear program by a few months. On the border, Fox News reporting new data showing illegal crossings at record lows amid the Trump administration crackdown. Customs and Border Patrol says between June 1st and Sunday, there have been 5,414 apprehensions at the border, with the busiest sector being El Paso. During that same time frame, there have been 986 known gotaways. Both numbers, according to CBP, are the lowest ever recorded. That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Okay, Woodbine, we've got a crash reported by police 440 eastbound past Nolensville Pike. And then Metro Center, police say there's a crash 65 northbound at Rosa Parks Boulevard. And in Brentwood now, police say Old Hickory Boulevard at Valley View Road and Seven Springs Way, there's a crash there. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
3:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand in for Matt Murphy, who is out nursing that shoulder. Yeah, he got a shoulder replacement. They said they got a new one off Temu and said this will do. So he had 5.5 hours in surgery yesterday. Nuts. That's what happens when you carry the team. So Murphy is out all week, and I'm going to be filling in for you. Appreciate you giving me the time to hang out with you guys. We're looking forward to it. Not a lot of phone calls on this, but a lot of text messages on the comments from Donald Trump this morning. The F-bomb heard around the world. Can you give me a little audio?
The ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you
Yeah, I mean, we heard you loud and clear. And listen, those comments absolutely affected foreign policy this morning. And I want to know what you think about them. 615-737-9986. A lot of people on the text line are saying, let the F-bombs fly. Luciano just texted in, let the F-bombs fly. 0335, I think Trump's comments this morning, more acceptable for the time with his frustration than Jasmine Crockett saying the same kind of thing. I got individuals texting in saying, Chris, the people that are calling in or texting and say it's unbecoming of a president, just tell those without sin cast the first stone. That was Dave. They say, I think it was great. Like you said, he's human. A lot more positive reaction to Donald Trump's comments this morning than negative reaction to Donald Trump's comments, at least on the text line. It seems like it's 95-5 pro Trump F-bomb as opposed to against it. And you know what? You can't argue with results. The results were there almost instantly. Trey Yingst is a Fox News reporter. He's on the ground in the middle of this conflict, or what was this conflict. And he commented on the exchange and fire hours before the ceasefire was supposed to commence, and then Donald Trump's comments saying turn the planes around. And he says, guys, if you're in Israel right now, you're looking up. The skies are clear.
But then President Trump got directly involved, calling Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling him to turn the jets around. Ultimately, the Israelis conducted just one strike outside of the Iranian capital against an Iranian radar system. This was able to contain the possibility of this spiraling out of control. And as of right now, the ceasefire is holding. Harris?
Trey, before I let you go real quickly, oftentimes we'll be able to see from your video and some of our other correspondents, you know, the immediate reaction to the ceasefire was caught with Netanyahu on the streets, people hailing him a hero, offering him free coffee, so on and so forth. Today is a different day, and I am curious, are people still as optimistic about a ceasefire? Everybody who's a citizen, I would imagine, would rather have peace. On both sides, actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely, on both sides. The civilian population is paying an incredibly heavy price. And when you look at billboards along Israel's main highway in Tel Aviv, there's a large picture of President Trump, and it says, "Thank you, Mr. President." The people in Israel are breathing a sigh of relief. They've just experienced one of the most intense periods in the history of this country. And now it appears it is over following these efforts by President Trump. Harris?
And let's be honest, half the country of Israel does not approve of Benjamin Netanyahu, at least half. And if Benjamin Netanyahu ruined that ceasefire, dropped more bombs than he did, this whole thing could have been a waste of time. And we could have been back to bombs flying. By the grace of God, we're not. Donald Trump's language, I do think, played a part in that. I think him saying enough is enough and spanking the kids when they get out of line, it worked. Also, the Associated Press is reporting that Trump told Netanyahu, we're not getting involved anymore. And here's the direct quote. President Donald Trump has informed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the United States will not carry out additional offensive military action against Iran following the recent U.S. airstrikes on Tehran's nuclear facilities. The Associated Press reports. We're done. We're done. You guys, you need to end this. Otherwise, you're on your own. So after Sunday's strike, Trump conveyed his position to Netanyahu in a private conversation. Senior White House official said the president views the Iranian threat as neutralized. Netanyahu is said to have understood the U.S. intent to avoid further military escalation. The truce between Israel and Iran right now remains fragile, both sides accusing the other of violations. Trump continues to frame the ceasefire as a major foreign policy achievement. It is. It is. He's not framing it as that. It absolutely is. Excuse me. It absolutely is a huge win for Donald Trump and his administration. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Now he's in NATO. Now you got to focus on Israel. Russia and Ukraine. That's the next conflict that he needs to end. And if anybody can do it, it's Donald Trump. Now, in the meantime, the Democrats very upset. They're very upset. They're upset that there was war in the beginning. The neocons are upset that there wasn't enough war. The liberals are upset that there was war to begin with. Rep. Yasmin Ansari, she's a Democrat out of Michigan, and she went on CNN earlier today to bemoan and belabor about Donald Trump.
Have a successful history when it comes to foreign intervention and regime change. And again, just looking at the last 10 days, the fact that within 24 hours, our president can go on social media and say, call for regime change, call for evacuation, then call for peace. This isn't how foreign policy should ever be conducted. It is chaotic. It terrifies people around the world. We're not going to build partners or allies. I mean, we have lost credibility on the world stage for so many other reasons, but this is the latest example.
Wait. We lost credibility because of this? Huh. That's a nice cold take. I actually think the United States has gained far more credibility because of this. Donald Trump's unpredictability on social media actually helped this mission get off the ground and land safely with 0 American casualties. This operation was a resounding success. It's going to make our partners not trust us. I think it's going to make our partners not mess around. I think it's going to make our enemies not mess around. But, hey, you know what? If you think that this foreign policy isn't working, well, the proof is in the pudding, right? It is working. The ceasefire is there. Is it fragile? Sure, it's fragile for the time being, but it's there. That's more than what we could say if we had a different president. Do you think things would be better with Kamala Harris in office? No. You don't think that. Of course not. I don't think even Rep. Yasmin Ansari thinks that. I don't think she's that crazy. But the Democrats are pushing back against this. They're very mad because there was too much war. And you got to get congressional approval. That's what they tell us. Hakeem Jeffries, he's still very upset. This is Dollar Store Obama, Buck Obama, if you will. Timu Obama. He's very upset. And he says that the American people, they want to know why the Republicans are hiding things from them and why they want this war in the Middle East to continue.
We'll have more to say about that later on this afternoon. But the question that the American people are asking is, why are Republicans hiding facts and the truth from America with respect to the possibility that their actions will drive us into another catastrophic war in the Middle East?
And he leaves the podium. Does that even make any sense to you? We just avoided a catastrophic war in the Middle East. Does he not pay attention to what's going on? Now, and I know he watches fake news CNN, but even CNN understands that this actually ended everything. Everything is done. The ceasefire is in place. Even CNN has acknowledged that multiple times on their own airwaves. They had Biden's former national security counselor, coordinator for the Middle East, Brett McGurk, on CNN. And I just wonder, how frazzled is the Democrat Party? Their talking points are so disjointed and all over the board. You have former Biden officials going on CNN saying this was damn near perfect.
Look, bottom line, this is about the best place we can be. I give extremely high marks to this national security team and President Trump for managing this crisis and given where we are. But now let's follow through. There's a chance for diplomacy here.
Yeah, there's a chance for diplomacy. You give it the highest marks you give it. That's a Biden National Security Council coordinator for the Middle East, Brett McGurk, on CNN, saying everything is actually as good as it could possibly be. As good as humanly possible. And we have an opportunity for diplomacy. And Dollar Store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, gets to a podium and says, well, this is going to launch us further into war. No. It's actually no. Just go Costanza with the Democrats. Just do the opposite. That's all you have to do. If the Democrats are saying this is going to do X, Y is going to happen, guaranteed, every time. You just got to trust Trump. These individuals, they have no idea what they're doing right now. They're flying by the seat of their pants because Donald Trump, his foreign policy is unpredictable. Listen, it made me nervous. I don't want another forever war, but it worked. It worked 100%. You got to trust the guy. That doesn't stop Democrats from finding podiums. Chuck Schumer, Chucky, he's also upset, and he wanted to let the American people know about it. He said, he said that the Trump administration, they're ducking, they're bobbing, they're weaving. They've got something to hide. Okay, we have things to hide. We have the Trump administration has things to hide.
On the nuclear capabilities of Iran.
Look, I don't want to get involved in classified information, but the Congress, in a classified hearing, is entitled to know how much of this nuclear material was destroyed, how much escaped, etc. And in terms of my briefing, well, you remember what happened Saturday night. About an hour before, or an hour and a half before the action, we didn't know the exact time the action occurred, but shortly before the action occurred, or during it, we're not sure which, they called me up and said, we're taking imminent action. We can't tell you what country. I said, can you give me some details? They said, no. That's the extent to the briefing I've gotten.
Maybe that's why we didn't have any leaks. Maybe that's why no members of the press got the news early.
I've asked for a briefing. I asked for a briefing yesterday. Didn't get it.
Does that make you feel that a war powers resolution is necessary as soon as possible? And also, how would you respond to the Speaker's claim that a war powers resolution may be unconstitutional?
Well, I do believe the Speaker is very wrong. It is not unconstitutional. And second, it's all the more reason we need the War Powers Act, where they'd have a legal obligation to tell the Congress the details they're now avoiding to tell us. And again, they're ducking, they're bobbing, they're weaving. What have they got to hide? Why aren't they informing their legal obligation, fulfilling their legal obligation to come and tell the Congress what's going on? What have they had to hide? Thank you.
And he walks away from the podium. Now, one of the things that I think that is important for you to understand with this Chuck Schumer guy here is he never criticizes the actual operation because he knows that there's no leg to stand on for criticizing that. He gets up there and he saber rattles about the War Powers Act. Oh, the War Powers. Oh, you got to ask Congress. He knows that Donald Trump doesn't need to. He was there when Obama dropped over 26,000 bombs. Donald Trump dropped, what was it, 13? Yeah, he knows. What he has to do is he has to get up behind a podium. He has to scream and yell and say, Orange Man bad, and we're going to get to the bottom of it without really saying anything at all. And that's what he did. It's 3:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. I'm in for Matt Murphy all week long. If you want to join the conversation, 615-737-9986. Jeff in Hendersonville will get to your call next. Plus, anything you want to add to the conversation, pick up the phone. Let's have a talk, shall we? 3:50 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine delivered the old-fashioned way, a direct pay format. Why is that important? One, it helps you know exactly what you're spending on your medical care when you go to the doctor. Number two, they never let insurance companies get in the way between you and the doctors that serve you at Grace Point Healthcare. That's important to me, and it should be important to you, and I think it is, because you want to make sure that the doctor's making decisions that are right for you, not right for the insurance company. Plus, Grace Point Healthcare treats the whole body with comprehensive medicine and a comprehensive approach. They get to the root of the problem. They don't just address the symptoms. Also, no wait times at Grace Point. You call, and oftentimes you get in same day or next day, even for brand new patients. Give a call and see the Grace Point difference. They're located in the heart of Franklin, 599-6868. That's 599-6868. You really can afford exceptional medicine at your convenience. It's Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
how would you like to have Jesus Christ pray for you? Did you know that Jesus Christ does pray for you if you're a Christian? Hebrews 7:25 says, "Therefore he is able also to save forever those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them." In Scripture, intercession means to pray on behalf of. Jesus Christ is your advocate. An advocate comes to our aid or pleads our case to a judge, offering support and counsel and interceding for us when necessary. In other verses, Jesus calls the Holy Spirit our advocate. Just like you talk to yourself, when Jesus talks to himself, it's prayer. The Bible says no matter what you go through today, next week, or next year, Jesus is praying for you if you have trusted him as your Savior. He's on your side.
Well, we're getting reports on exactly what sort of damage the U.S. strikes on nuclear sites in Iran may have done. We'll let you hear some of that coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, filling in for Matt Murphy. He's recovering, shoulder surgery. You know, I'm still seeing comments on the YouTube channel. Where's Matt? Yeah, he's out. He's going to be out all week. He's recovering. He's nursing that shoulder back to health, and we wish him nothing but the best. But I'll be here for you all week long. Jeff in Hendersonville is on the line. Wants to talk foreign policy and Donald Trump. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how you doing? Just dealing with the rain, heading south on the 65. Woo!
Hey, it sounds like a blast.
Oh, man, I tell you, the fun never stops here. Hey, it's just comedic to me, a couple things. One is just the extent that all the Democrats are literally scrambling over each other. It's like trying to get off a sinking ship to appear relevant.
Yep.
Number two, I'm glad they can lecture us about how to conduct foreign policy when the last 4 years our POTUS was shaking hands with the air and was arguably on stage with a loaded diaper most of the time.
Amen.
So,
yep.
I don't know if that was a great enabler of world peace, but I feel a little safer now. That's my 2 cents.
Me and you both, Jeff. I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for holding. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. On the way, it's not just the liberals that are mad. Liberals are saying, Donald Trump should have asked us first. He should have got congressional approval for war. But the neocons are mad also. The neocons wanted more war. The neocons wanted regime change. Donald Trump aboard Air Force One this morning says, no, we're not doing regime change. It gets too messy. gets too messy. I'm very, very much happy about that. Also, J.D. Vance had an interview today, and he takes you behind the scenes of the intense moment that was this morning where we weren't sure if that ceasefire was going to hold up or if it was going to fall apart. You're going to want to stick around for that. Plus, we'll have another medicated moment with one Matt Murphy. Yeah, he's nursing that shoulder back to health, and he's doing so with a bit of narcotics, just full disclosure. And he keeps sending me voice notes. This guy, I almost wish I didn't say anything to him. I'm getting so many voice notes from him. So we're gonna play another medicated moment from Matt Murphy when we return after Ken Weaver's newscast. It's 4:00. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4:00 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and some of us in Nashville are cooling off a little bit. We've got an isolated thunderstorm that is right now just east of the East Loop downtown and dropping very heavy rain on Ellington Parkway and portions of 24 and 65 there downtown. Just a very isolated rain cell there, so at least some of us are getting a little bit of relief from the heat. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. President Trump has landed in the Netherlands for the NATO summit after spending a good part of the flight over trying to keep together the Israel-Iran ceasefire after a shaky start. Here's Ian Panel.
Israel accusing Iran of violating the ceasefire. Iran denying it. But Israel already launching retaliatory strikes. The final few hours before the ceasefire were marked by multiple waves of attacks by both sides.
Now, President Trump reportedly got them to stop. He told Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu not to take further military action against Iran. Sources say Netanyahu, quote, understood the severity of the situation and the concerns the president expressed. Meanwhile, an early U.S. intelligence report suggests the strikes against Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend set back Iran's nuclear program by a few months. This is according to whom the Associated Press and New York Times say are sources. Senate Majority Leader John Thune was asked today if he agreed with President Trump's assessments that those key nuclear enrichment facilities in Iran were totally obliterated.
Well, I'm not sure I have, you might want to hear from Senator Cotton, who chairs the Intelligence Committee, an answer on the full extent. But we know for sure that their nuclear program was set back considerably, and that is a victory.
Well, Speaker Mike Johnson says the White House classified bipartisan briefing on that for all House members will be Friday. Meanwhile, an attempt by Democrat Congressman Al Green to impeach President Trump was shot down today, with at least 100 members of his own party blocking that move. The National Transportation Safety Board holding a hearing today about that incident on an Alaska Airlines jet last year where a door plug flew off mid-flight. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more.
The preliminary report from the NTSB last year found evidence the door plug, after being serviced by Spirit Aerosystems employees at Boeing's factory, was closed with no bolts in several locations. Those missing bolts are ultimately what led to the door plug detaching, according to NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy.
Several barriers of defense must fail for the error to lead to an accident.
The agency says the finalized report will be available in several weeks. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Now, the board is also discussing recommendations to prevent similar problems from ever happening again. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Yeah, that heavy rain downtown slowing things down on the way home right now, especially the eastbound East Loop. And then it looks like northbound West Loop up to the 24 split, eastbound South Loop over to 65, northbound 65 bumper to bumper up to the South Loop, as is eastbound 440 over to 24, and then westbound 40 to get to downtown there from the eastern split is bumper to bumper. Got an accident in the Gore. That is 40 eastbound at Broad. And then in Madison, got a crash blocking the right lane, 65 southbound before Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway, exit 90A and B. Pleasant View, Cheatham County. TDOT says the right shoulder is blocked by a crash 24 westbound at Springfield, Ashland City, Highway 49, exit 24. In White House, Highway Patrol says there's a crash 65 northbound at Bethel Road. And again, over here, the eastern split now, in conjunction with just the regular heavy traffic going out, now we've got a crash, 24 eastbound right there at the 40 split, exit 52A. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.407 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand in for Matt Murphy. Murphy is nursing that shoulder. He got shoulder replacement yesterday. 5.5 hours in surgery. Just absolutely brutal. I don't know how he's doing this, but he's continuing to send me voice notes. I think he's being assisted by a heavy amount, a copious amount of narcotics. That's the only thing that would make any sense to me. But Matt keeps sending me voice notes, like just nonstop. If you saw our iMessage right now, it's just all Murphy voice. I haven't even been replying.
Are they all arable?
I think so. I wasn't sure if I should. So I did. Okay. So after the first one that he sent me, when I thought he might drop the F word, I was like, maybe I should listen to the second one. So I did listen to this one. This one's arable, but I don't think I'm going to listen to the next ones. I think the element of surprise and that little bit of danger is kind of what he's going for.
Head on a swivel.
You got to do it. So at the top of every hour while Murphy is out, we're going to be bringing you medicated moments with Matt Murphy. This is another one of those.
So anyway, these guys are all like, hey, yes, you'll have titanium. There's a rod going down your bone, which is way too sexual. Anyway, and then they said there's a ball of titanium on the top, and I said, that's great. I said, I'll get screened at airports, and there'll be a big brouhaha. And the doctor said, no, we found that generally you just tell them. And I said, I don't have to bring a card? And he goes, no, just tell the TSA that you had a shoulder replacement and you have titanium, and they'll let you through. And I'm thinking, well, then why wouldn't the terrorists do that? That's not good.
That's not. That's
right?
not. No, it's not good, Matt. That's not good. It's been a medicated moment with Matt Murphy. He did sound medicated in that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, he started with so anyways.
So anyway,
Like he's talking to somebody before he starts recording.
That's how the voice notes. That's how it started. So anyway, I didn't do any editing on this, by the way. I didn't do a lick of editing because I didn't want to ruin any of the magic.
So anyway.
So Matt's doing fine. His wife is taking great care of him. I've heard that he's in a comfy new chair, and he's watching Leave It to Beaver reruns. So he's in a good spot. He's in a good spot. Keep praying for him. Keep praying for him. But he's doing all right. A lot of news to cover in the meantime, and I'm happy to be here with you however you may be listening. You can listen to us on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. You can listen to us on the FM dial. You can also watch the show. Why would you want to watch a radio show on your TV? First and foremost, when I do the radio show, all the audio that you're going to hear on your radio, you'll also see video elements on your TV, whether you're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or our personal favorite, YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe while you're there. Helps me feed my kids. I don't know if you know this about me. I have 4 kids. I've got a lot of kids. So the more likes, the better food that we can get. If you don't want the kids to eat bread and water, it's really going to be contingent on you hitting like and hitting subscribe. Do it for the kids if you're not going to do it for me. Appreciate it. In the meantime, there was some tense situations this morning. The ceasefire, it almost fell apart before our very eyes. Not something that would have shocked us because of the nature of the hatred that Israel and Iran have for one another. But we were watching in real time. We saw Donald Trump get frustrated in real time. He said, what the, I'm not going to say it. I want to. He was allowed to. I feel like I should be able to. Many people on the text line say, don't do it. Don't do it. And then there's like another half of the text line that says, yeah, say it. Say it. I'm not gonna. But it was a tense moment. J.D. Vance hopped on the Charlie Kirk show today and broke down what was going on behind the scenes during that ceasefire limbo, if you will. Oh, hang on one second. This is freezing on me because why? Why not? Why would a Twitter video work? You know what I mean? It's not going to work right away. Here we go.
What do you think led to that? He wanted the ceasefire so badly. He wants peace. His driving force is peace, not war, which is such a sea change versus the prior Republican Party. Can you comment on President Trump this morning as he was demanding an end to all conflict, and it worked? Please.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, ceasefires are always a little bit of mess, Charlie, and we don't even know fully exactly what happened. I mean, our understanding is that, the Israelis obviously tried to ramp up their campaign towards the very end. The Iranians took a lot of shots at the Israelis at the very end. There are some concerns here because, even after the senior leaders agree to a ceasefire, it takes some time for that message to get down to the commanders in the field. Even though if the leadership of Iran, for example, says, yes, okay, we'll stop shooting, it's totally possible that there's a guy they can't reach who doesn't realize that.
I mean, and how many times have we seen that? Wasn't it there was an island in the Pacific that guys were fighting World War II on long after it had ended? We see that. So there's definitely that possibility.
And so it's not even clear totally what happened, but there appears to be one errant rocket that the Israelis perceived was fired at them. It did not land. It did not do any damage. This was the very last rocket the Iranian shot. And then it seemed like the Israelis were going to do this massive response. And the president you saw this morning had just been, and I called him 5 minutes before this press conference and we talked about it. And I think the president was just like, this is ridiculous. Totally. These guys are exhausted. Both of them want to stop fighting. This stupid shit tit for tat is unacceptable. And I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to make it very clear to each party that this needs to stop.
And he made it crystal clear. I mean, he went on True Social and he absolutely changed the news cycle with 2 truth posts. First, he says, you need to turn those planes around. And that's a statement loud and clear to Israel, who absolutely caught a backhand from Donald Trump during this. 100%. You can't slice it any other way. He said, enough of the garbage. And after that True Social, minutes after, we get another post where he says, don't worry, they're not dropping bombs. They're just going to do a nice plane wave. They're doing a plane wave. That's all they're doing. It's a plane wave. It's the first time I've ever heard the term coined, but it was the first ever plane wave in history of the globe. But that's what we saw. It was just a little wave, no bombs. But that was a direct result of the frustration and the anger that we saw from Donald Trump this morning.
And obviously, it's an amazing thing to have an American president who just goes out there and says, this is what's in America's best interest. This is what's smart. The parties should choose the smart path and not the dumb path. Amen. And he said it so forcefully that I actually think it meaningfully changed the trajectory of this morning, Charlie. I mean, just take you through my own psychology. At around 6:30 this morning, which is, I think, right around the time the president was going out, I was worried that this ceasefire would fall apart. You know, it was hard won. There was a lot of background that went into it. You go to bed, you think things are fine. You wake up and realize that they're not. And I really thought around 6:30 this morning the whole thing might fall apart.
I said, I'm just going to trust the Lord and trust Trump.
He said, I think around 6:30 this morning, he's looking at it going, this is all going to fall apart. At 6:30, then you see Donald Trump go out there and give the comments that he gave. And I agree with Vance. That kind of forceful rhetoric from the president directly changed the outcome of what could have happened this morning, without a doubt. So you see that kind of forceful rhetoric. You see the change in the air. And it's, again, only Donald Trump could do this.
You think things are fine. You wake up and realize that they're not. And I really thought around 6:30 this morning the whole thing might fall apart. The president got it back on track as only he can do. It was really amazing.
Extraordinary. Last night, there were a lot of doomers, Mr. Vice President. There were a lot of doomers.
Yes, there were.
And they were like, oh, this thing's falling apart, and Persia's launching rockets, and it's past this. And I honestly, I turned my phone off at 1 a.m. Eastern. I said, I'm done. I said, I'm just going to trust the Lord and trust Trump, who I think has the hand of God on him to settle this thing.
And you know what? It appears that he does, because he did get it settled. And he got it settled very, very quickly. I love the behind-the-scenes look, though, from J.D. Vance. I love when they're pulling back the curtain and kind of saying, guys, we didn't know what was going to shake out either. We had no idea. We thought it was good. Then we thought it was kind of falling apart. And then it worked out. And want to know why it worked out? It worked out because President Trump was out there, and he was doing what only President Trump can do. Trump, by the way, has been officially nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize because of all this. You knew it was coming, but it's here. He was nominated today, and he was nominated by Rep. Buddy Carter, Republican out of Georgia, officially nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in response to his efforts to bring about peace between Israel and Iran. Will he win the Nobel Peace Prize? Probably not. They'll probably give it to some guy who drone bombs kids, because, you know, they've actually done that before. Yeah, I know. It was Obama, just in case you didn't pick it up. But in a letter obtained by Fox News that was sent to the chair of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, Georgian Watne Friednes Carter wrote, as a member of the United States Congress, I want to formally nominate Donald J. Trump, the 47th president of the United States, for the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his extraordinary and historic role in brokering an end to the armed conflict between Israel and Iran and preventing the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism from obtaining the most lethal weapon on the planet. You would think that he should get that. If you were to ask a neocon, they would tell you absolutely not. The neocons, they've been really in a tizzy. They want more war. Weird, neocons wanting more war in the Middle East. Who could have ever seen that coming? Many neocons, including the night guy on this radio station, they want regime change. That's one of the things that they really, truly want. Donald Trump this morning on Air Force One said, yes, sorry, I've heard your calls for regime change, and no, that's not going to happen.
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos, so we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people, and they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear, but other than that, they should do a great job.
And you would think that a lot of the individuals who are pushing for war, pushing for American intervention in the region, would be satisfied given the strikes on the nuclear facilities. You would think that they would, but they're not. They're not, because they're going full mask off. They just want that regime change. That's really what they want. Mark Levin last night, he was downright beside himself because we didn't get the regime change that the neocons wanted. He's been taking aim at a lot of guys that I know. Jack Posobiec in particular, he's been taking aim at Poso. Poso posted this clip from Mark Levin's radio show last night. I tried to listen to his show last night on the ride home. Couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I did. I gave it the honest try. But he posted this clip from Levin last night. And granted, it's out of context, but just take a listen.
The truth, too. So we have a ceasefire. I hate this word ceasefire. I really do. The president hated it a few days ago, too. What's needed now is this, in my humble opinion. Iran should be forced to sign a surrender document, unconditional surrender. They lost their nukes. They've lost their air force. They have no ground-to-air protection. China didn't step in. Russia didn't step in. Not a single Arab country stepped in. The supreme Nazi is hiding in a bunker, much like Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler wasn't thrown a lifeline. He wasn't thrown in a lifeline. He was going to be killed, so he committed suicide. I'm very much interested in seeing how this plays out. I really am. Because what does an agreement look like? Does that mean the supreme Nazi survives? Does that mean the regime survives? I guess so.
Oh, and he's so salty about it. All these flavors, and Mark Levin has to choose salty. Listen, Trump intervened. That's what you wanted, right? No. That's not far enough. Now, if the regime survives, it's a failure to the neocons. It's a wasted opportunity. They want more war. While the Democrats are mad and they say Donald Trump didn't ask us, he didn't go to Congress. There was too much war for the Democrats. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum with the neocons, there wasn't enough war. So no matter how you slice it, Donald Trump is a huge failure in this situation. Depending on which group you ask, they'll have a different reason. It's 422. My name is Chris Hand. I'm in for Matt Murphy, taking some of your phone calls when we get back at 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Friends, how much do you pay for health insurance? If you don't know the answer off the top of your head, might I recommend you call Shane Ring at Cover Nash? Shane's not one to sell you or upsell you on products that you don't need, but you need an expert in your corner to examine the health insurance marketplace and make sure that you're not overpaying. I don't know, and honestly, if I didn't have Shane Ring in my corner, I don't think I would know if I'm overpaying or not. But with Shane on your side, you can find out. He sits down with you and shops the entire health plan market, so you know every health plan that's available. And he can get you a plan that has a deductible as low as $250. I know. You think you heard me incorrectly. You heard me correctly. Call Shane Ring and ask him about it, and you don't have to wait till open enrollment either. Don't get taken advantage of and don't overpay. Take control of your money. Take control of your health coverage managed by you and never by the government. Go to covernash.com. That's covernash.com, or call 615-465-0023. 465-0023.
Preliminary Iran strike assessment and other top stories coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Where are you seeing those strike assessments from?
These are reports based on sources from the New York Times and the Associated Press.
Got you. All right. The failing New York Times. And the guys that still say Gulf of Mexico. Oh, got it. All right. Thanks, Ken.
You betcha, brother.
More on the way. My name is Chris Ham, by the way. I'm filling in for Matt Murphy. You want to join the conversation? 615-737-9986. Randy, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. What's up?
I'm curious, and when you use the word neocon, what do you mean by that?
The conservative Republicans that are kind of holdovers from the Bush era, the ones that favor interventionist foreign policy.
So neo just means new.
Yeah.
So that's not a holdover. That's kids.
No. The neocons, the neocons are like the Lindsey Grahams of the world, the Mark Levins of the world. Those are the neocons.
Well,
the ones.
Come up with another name. Neo means
I didn't make the name. I'm not the one that coined the term.
The liberals did, so we shouldn't be using it.
It describes them perfectly, though.
But it's not right.
But it's what it's what they've been called for a long time.
All right. Well, leave it to the liberals, man. It's beneath us.
I don't know. I don't know. Are you mad at me about it?
No, I mean I don't think you should be using it.
Why not? Why, Randy?
Because neo means new conservative means a younger kid growing up and they just become a conservative, not Mark Levin.
No, I mean Mark Levin is one of those neocons. I mean they're the Team America World Police guys. That's the neocons.
You got to come up with a word because that's wrong.
I mean you can be mad at me, Randy. I didn't come up with it. They've been called that for years.
You're in the business, so think of something.
I like the neocon word.
Well, I do too when it's used right.
Well, I feel like it's being used pretty proper.
It's just you're just using it too much.
I'm using it too much.
Too much and not in the right context.
No, the context is correct, and I only think I've used it like a handful of times.
Right, but look up neo. It just means new. They're not new.
But I don't know. What did I do though? I didn't name them that. They've been named that since I was a wee lad.
Yeah, but you're saying that's a broad brush. You're painting with.
I mean, maybe Randy. I think hey, maybe.
I ain't against you. I'm just thinking that it's being used in the wrong term.
All right. Well, I'll find somebody to write a letter to, Randy, and I'll get it changed.
Thank you.
All right, later. I'm time for a Neo caller, I guess. It's 4:30. Ken Weaver's got some Neo headlines for you. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we've still got some rain hanging around downtown, mainly north of I-40, over parts of downtown north of I-40. Got another area, pretty heavy rain right now just east of 24, south of Springfield. These are just the pop-up variety showers and storms, nothing severe, but they can dump a lot of rain whenever they do. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Well, the Saturday night strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities did not completely destroy the country's nuclear program, but likely set it back by months. This is according to two people familiar with an early intelligence assessment. According to the New York Times, the Associated Press, ABC News is running with it. This is in contradiction to what President Trump told the American people in his address hours after the hit. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang telling us how the Trump administration is reacting.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, in response to our reporting and from CNN, she is blasting it, saying that this is a result of, quote, low-level loser leakers. And let me just read you part of her statement. She says, quote, this assessment and the leak is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound compound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration.
Now, today, Speaker Mike Johnson says the White House classified bipartisan briefing on the Iran strikes for all House members will be on Friday. President Trump, meanwhile, in the Netherlands to attend the NATO summit. He'll attend meetings tomorrow with NATO leaders, then hold a press conference before leaving in the evening to head back to Washington. A key priority of the president for this summit, pushing the military alliance to formalize a commitment by each country to increase its defense spending from 2% of its GDP to 5%. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Yeah, so again, got some rain hanging around north downtown Nashville, all of it north of I-40. Then we got another pretty heavy cell just south of Springfield to the east of 24. Looks like we still have the brake tap in full effect everywhere around the loop downtown. Then northbound 65 is really backed up to get to that south loop. We've got a crash reportedly blocking the Gore 40 eastbound at Broad. And then in Madison, there is a crash blocking the right lane, 65 southbound before Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway, exit 90A and B. Sumner County Highway Patrol reporting a crash 65 northbound at Bethel Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Folks, I don't want you to be left in the dark if the power goes out. And you're thinking, well, Murphy, how does that work? If the power goes out, I'm naturally going to be left in the dark because I don't have any power. Not so when you have Premier Generators. They are your one-stop shop for all things Generac generators and home generation in Middle Tennessee. Let me tell you about them because they're absolutely fabulous. At Premier Generators, they are the largest certified Generac dealer in Tennessee. And if you look it up, you'll see that Generac is your premier brand. You see what I did there? Premier Generators and Generac is your premier brand. It can be one of the smartest investments that you make. I mean, it truly is what I consider to be an insurance policy, right? You buy insurance with your auto on the off chance that you get in an automobile accident, and you probably never use that insurance, right? You probably don't get in that automobile accident. You buy life insurance, you buy health insurance. Why in the world would you not buy electricity insurance? I mean, that's what we're talking about with a Generac generator from Premier, right? And the odds of the power going out are a lot greater than any of those other things happening, so you're going to get your monies back right now. Free consultation. What are you waiting for? Contact them at premiergenerators.com, premiergenerators.com, or call and tell them that Matt Murphy sent you. 615-439-2992. 439-2992. It's what they do at Premier. They do Generac generators. That's what they do, and they want to talk with you at Premier. Friends, if you own land and you're looking to do something with it, or perhaps you want to add value to it, might I recommend an incredible post-frame building from Stoltz Co. They are the leading provider of post-frame buildings in Middle Tennessee and beyond. Stoltz Co. is the company that delivers first-class customer service with the creation of any post-frame building you can imagine, such as a pole barn, a garage, an equestrian space, an event space, or, yes, a barn dominium. Folks live in these post-frame buildings. The barn dominiums are incredible. You just need to see them to understand them. When you go to stoltzco.com, I'll spell that for you in just a moment, stoltzco.com, you can see a future home. You can see someplace to turn into a she shed or a man space. Whatever you're looking to do, perhaps an in-law suite on your property. It will raise the value of your property, and it will give you great memories for years and years to come. Friends, go to stoltzco.com. That's stoltzco.com, or give them a call and sit down and talk to them today about what you desire, what you dream. If you can dream it, they can do it at Stoltzco. 615-622-5992. 622-5992 for Stoltzco.
It's 4:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Filling in for Matt Murphy. He's got a Chinese shoulder now, so he needs some time off.
The CCP. He's got the CCP in him.
He's a quarter Chinese now. Stay tuned. We'll have another medicated moment with Murphy coming up at 5 o'clock. I got another one for you guys. It's a pretty good one. We're going to do that at the top of every hour. Medicated moments with one Matt Murphy. He said, he texted me. I said to him, these are gold. He said, gracias, Senor Hand. I don't know why, but I read it with the accent that I would imagine him using. I did.
I can hear that accent.
Can't you? Everybody can. Ocasio-Cortez. All right, so Matt's on the mend. Don't worry, he'll be back next week. In the meantime, you can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or the FM dial. If you're listening on the FM dial, I'd love for you to try us out on YouTube as well. Why would you want to watch a radio show on TV? For all of the audio that you hear during the radio program, I'll have video for you on the live stream. Plus, you can join an amazing conversation over there. Shout out to the YouTube chat. They're always popping off about something. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do so. But we had a caller that was really, really upset with me. What did he say? He said he called me a loser?
A dope.
And I was going to go to him first. I was going to go to him first, and Randy didn't want to hold anymore.
It was Ben.
Randy didn't hold either, though. Nobody held through the commercial.
Nope.
Yeah, sorry, guys. If you want to explain why I'm a dope, you're more than welcome to call back. 615-737-9986. Maybe it was because the Mark Levin take. Was it the Mark Levin? The night guy? He's not very happy that we didn't get regime change. He's not very happy that Donald Trump negotiated a ceasefire, and he said as much on his show last night.
The truth, too. So we have a ceasefire. I hate this word ceasefire. I really do. The president hated it a few days ago, too. What's needed now is this, in my humble opinion.
Humble.
Iran should be forced to sign a surrender document, unconditional surrender. They lost their nukes. They've lost their air force. They have no ground-to-air protection. China didn't step in. Russia didn't step in. Not a single Arab country stepped in. The supreme Nazi is hiding in a bunker, much like Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler wasn't thrown a lifeline. He wasn't thrown in a lifeline. He was going to be killed, so he committed suicide. I'm very much interested in seeing how this plays out. I really am. Because what does an agreement look like? Does that mean the supreme Nazi survives? Does that mean the regime survives? I guess so.
I guess so. I guess it means the regime survives. It's not good enough for Mark Levin. Mark Levin wants total regime change. He wants American boots on the ground. He wants a long, protracted conflict. Let's be perfectly honest. That's exactly what Mark Levin wants. The night guy. And then he's taking aim at other individuals. I heard him on the ride home yesterday. He's taking aim at Steve Bannon. He's taking aim at Jack Posobiec. He's saying that these guys aren't America first because we're not advocating for regime change. And it's funny. It's funny. You know who else isn't advocating for regime change? That would be the president of the United States. Also not advocating for regime change. Weird.
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos.
Yep.
And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people, and they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job.
I love that Donald Trump still wants prosperity for this region at the end of the day. And I've said this quite a few times on my own program, but I think that's one of Donald Trump's biggest strengths is that he doesn't demonize the enemy, he humanizes the enemy, right? And that's the quickest way to peace. If all he's going to do is demonize them and make them the most evil people in the world, then it's going to be a lot easier to get people to go along with you towards war. Trump never does that. He doesn't do that with any conflict. He doesn't do that with Russia and Ukraine. He didn't do that with the war in the Middle East when he was winning those primaries back in 2015. He says, guys, you have so much death on both sides. I'm tired of death. So he humanizes the enemy. And he says, guys, they can be prosperous. They could do something great. They have all that oil. They'll be able to rebuild. They'll be able to do something great. Make Iran great again. The warmongers, though, they don't like that at all. They want to see complete chaos. They want to see regime change. They want to see the Ayatollah taken out, and they have this bloodlust. Mark Levin is one of those guys. He is. He's downright giddy about war. Lindsey Graham, one of those guys, downright giddy about war. And then they take shots. They say Tucker Carlson, he's owned by Qatar. Okay. I've never seen anything to prove that. No. I heard Mark Levin last night taking shots at Steve Bannon. He's from Hollywood. He's from Hollywood. Okay. All right. Cool. Steve Bannon, though, he didn't hold back when it came to Mark Levin on his own program. And there's definitely a lot of back and forth between both of these sides. I'm absolutely going to lean on the side of the guys that don't want complete chaos in the Middle East, aren't advocating for regime change, and aren't advocating for long, drawn-out conflicts. This is Steve Bannon on Mark Levin.
These hyenas, they're jackals. They're jackals. They feed off death and destruction. What Levin and these guys did in Ukraine and Fox did in Ukraine. You see them cheerleading Ukraine now? Where is it? Where there's 1 million people dead and wounded. Where is it now? Mersheimer's right. You're gonna yell and scream until you get down to the last Ukrainian. Now they got the young girls in Ukraine. Times got a story. People demographically is a disaster. All the young people are leaving. The mothers and fathers don't want those boys drafted. And Trump is sitting there trying to get peace. Do you understand what we said? He's trying to deport 10 million illegal alien invaders minimum here to get them out of the country and get our sovereignty back. Julie Kelly's going to report on that in a minute. Supreme Court's got his back. Suck on that, Weissman and MSNBC. Ari Melver. And he's working on a peace deal here. And then he's going to try to do something with the Russians. He's trying to stand the Chinese down. And the jackals, all the jackals want, the jackals are there for the arms makers, the arms manufacturers. Richard Barris, I'm so mad I could spit right now.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, listen, Mark Levin wants more war, just like he does in Ukraine and Russia, and he's not getting it. I think if Trump is smart when he gets to NATO this week, and Trump obviously is smart, and obviously they're going to be working on this, but the main goal has to be peace with Russia and Ukraine. That has to be the main goal this week. Secondary goal, getting that funding back up. But peace between Russia and Ukraine. Enough of the chaos. Because it doesn't look like you're going to have to worry about Iran. Donald Trump this morning on Air Force One, he's like, guys, they're completely degraded. I mean, we saw what Israel was able to do. They took out missile launchers. They took out their strategic intelligence networks. And I mean, they've crushed them. They have nothing. And President Trump this morning said they're not going to have enrichment and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. I think we can move off and try to end another conflict.
President, did Iran make any commitments yesterday about uranium enrichment?
About what?
About uranium enrichment.
They're not going to have enrichment and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they know that. They're going to get on to being a great trading nation. You know, they're very good traders. And they're going to be a great trading nation, and they have a lot of oil. They're going to do well. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
So did they promise?
The last thing on Iran's mind right now is nuclear weapons.
I would imagine that's the last thing on their mind. We'll see, though. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Chad first. What's up, Chad?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? How we doing?
I want to talk to you about all the taxes been on you right now.
About what?
About all the tax from other callers have been on you.
Oh, yeah. What's up, man?
Yeah. Well, Mark Levin has his theory, and other people have their theory, but I feel like Donald Trump's going to throw stuff out there just because he says something does not mean he's going to do it. If they're going to have the regime change, he's not going to announce it to the public. So people's getting mad because he's not doing this and not saying that. The man is brilliant at his job.
100%.
And I feel like that he is on top of everybody and 3 steps far ahead of everybody.
He illustrated that over the weekend. 100%.
That's correct. That's correct. So all these people calling in, doing this, doing that, saying this, all these politicians, even like Mark Levin, I mean, just back off. Everybody wants to speak too early. The man's got it under control.
I think if you can learn anything from Trump over the weekend, I appreciate the call, Chad, is be patient. Just be patient. Don't be a panicking, right? How many times has he said that? Don't be a panicking. Don't be a panicking. Jonathan, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, John?
Hey, man, how's it going? I appreciate you coming on. And I'd like to say, first of all, I wish you were on a lot more often because I agree with a lot of things.
Hey, every day, Monday through Friday, man, 9 to noon when I'm not filling in for Murphy. So if you're working during that time, you can always catch the podcast on Apple and Spotify.
Right on. Thank you. So, yeah, unfortunately here as of late, and I mean maybe the last few months to a year, I have not been enjoying listening to Mark Levin in the evenings because it sounds like he's so full of hatred and he's kind of wishy-washy, I guess. And I'm not trying to bash on Mr. Randy that called in a few minutes ago, but think about this. The term neocon comes from an era whenever the warmongering conservatives were trying to get into a continuation of war in multiple regions. And so then you've got people these days that that bash Trump or the conservatives for not doing enough, but then whenever they don't do something that's a continuation of war, then they turn around and bash them for not getting into new wars. So you got to pick a side. You can't just lean both directions and follow the screaming, yelling crowd like Mark Levin. I really can't even dig that dude anymore. I will say this, though. The Grand Ayatollah knows what he's up against, and it's a really dirty, nefarious the Israel state has their hands in a lot more than people understand and has for decades. They're going to continue. They are the neocons that Randy does not like. They are the ones that want to continually pull money out of other enriched countries and fund wars so that they can prop themselves up. Now, look, I love you. There's plenty of Jewish people that I love. I'm talking about the Jewish state of Israel that is a perpetual war machine. You've got to eventually pick sides. You cannot keep trying to perpetuate a war and say that you're all about peace at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Israel, I just want them to fight their own battles. And I appreciate the call, John. I mean, listen, I love Israel, love the people of Israel. Great, like awesome. But we shouldn't be dragged into every conflict that Israel finds themselves in every single time, all the time. Donald Trump absolutely assisted, shut down their nuclear program. Huge, awesome, and then he got the hell out. It was perfect. It was the perfect amount of intervention that you could ask for. I didn't think that you could get in and get out that quick. Donald Trump proved me wrong. I had my doubts. I had my doubts about intervening in that 100%. Because you look at past history, you look at what we've done before and the messes that it caused, and you don't want anything to do with it. You look at regime change around that region that we've helped facilitate, be it Iraq, be it Libya, down the line, Syria. You can go on and on and on. It never works out the way they want it, ever. None of these countries are in a better place than they were before regime change. None of them. So for guys to get on the air and just advocate for it nonchalantly, I think it's crazy. And I see a lot of people out here that they really like Mark Levin, and they think that I'm insane, and that's totally fine. I think Mark Levin is great and great broadcaster for a long time, but I think so many football coaches you see, it's like, man, you've done so great and you have such this career, but the game, man, has completely passed you by. Completely passed you by. That's just my opinion. It's 4:52. Chris Hand in for Matt Murphy. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
If you have a pest problem and that pest problem comes in the form of, let's say, ticks or roaches or fleas or ladybugs or silverfish or stink bugs, and there's many, many more. I mean, common Tennessee pests are in abundance right now because this is the time of year that you see them most. Well, it's time to get rid of them. Those pests don't have to be a reality for you if you have U.S. Pest on your side. Pest control is vital in your community. Pest control is vital in your home. It protects your family from the nastiness that is insect-borne disease or rodent-borne disease. It also just is the creep factor, right? You don't want roaches in your home. You don't want bugs in your home, and you certainly don't want termites. They can cause major damage. Give U.S. Pest a call today and find out what they can do for you. They don't pressure you into doing anything you don't want to do. They're not high-pressure sales guys. They're just there to solve problems. U.S. Pest. Go to uspest.com. They are the best at U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest is owned by J.K. and Erica Brister. And I always like to say there's two things you need to know about them. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. 590-1260. That's 590-1260.
Iran preliminary strike report and other top stories at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. On the way at 5 o'clock, we also have another medicated moment with Matt Murphy. It's quickly becoming a fan favorite. People are asking me to prompt him with some of these medicated moments. I can't do that. Matt's going to come up with it on his own under a haze of narcotics, just like God intended.
What if he starts giving us advice?
Yeah, he may. He may.
I'm not going to take it.
That's the best possible outcome.
I wouldn't. I would ask a doctor if the advice is right for you before you get into that. Hey, on the way, J.D. Vance talking about how Donald Trump has hit the reset button on foreign policy in America. This is a clip that you're not going to want to miss. Plus, we'll take more of your phone calls at 615-737-9986. A lot of people texting in, taking up for Mark Levin. I invited every single one of them to call in. You know how many takers I got? None. Hey, man. I did get a text from John in Lawrenceburg. He says, do you think bagging on Mark Levin is going to win you listeners? It's like, I like you both. I'm not bagging on him. I'm just paid to give my opinion. So that's what I'm here to do. 5 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. President Trump in the Netherlands for the NATO summit. He's going to be back in the White House late tomorrow, so this is a packed 24 hours with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky hoping for some of Trump's time. Mr. Trump has his own agenda. He wants the member nations to increase from 2% of their gross domestic product to 5%, the amount they pay for defense. Two people familiar with an early intelligence assessment on Saturday night strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities are challenging the use of the word obliterated by President Trump. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang reports.
According to this initial report, and the caveat here is that this can change as more intelligence assessments come out, which was highly classified, this report says that the U.S. believes, based on this early report, that significant damage was done, but that was mostly to the above-ground structures, not to the ones deep underground. And according to one person, the enriched uranium was not destroyed and the centrifuges are largely intact.
Fox News reporting President Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. will not conduct more strikes inside Iran. Meanwhile, in Washington, Speaker Mike Johnson says the White House classified bipartisan briefing for all House members will be Friday. A Northern California man is under arrest and charged with allegedly attempting to provide material support to ISIS.
33-year-old Ahmad Akhtar of Stockton has allegedly since February been communicating online with somebody he thought was a member of ISIS, but was what federal prosecutors call a law enforcement-controlled individual. Akhtar allegedly expressed a desire to fight for ISIS and provided financial funding several times. He thought was going to ISIS, saying, quote, "May Allah destroy our enemies," end quote. He allegedly talked about a bombing attack on a populated event, and this week gave an undercover agent money and 2 loaded guns while pledging allegiance to ISIS. If convicted, he could get 20 years in prison. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told reporters today he had a very successful lunch with senators as they ramp up negotiations on that one big, beautiful bill. The secretary said he thinks the chamber's on track for a vote Friday so that legislation can get to President Trump's desk by July 4th.
The president is doing peace deals, tax deals, trade deals, so he's done a peace deal. I think we'd have the tax deal done by July 4th, and then we can finish with the trade deals.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane and another one 65 northbound past Rosa Parks Boulevard. That's exit 85. Over in Cheatham County, Pleasant View, Highway Patrol says there's a crash 24 westbound near the Springfield-Ashland City Highway 49 exit. Looks like we've got 40 westbound, a stalled vehicle now on Fessler's Lane. That's 40 westbound at Fessler's Lane where that crash is going eastbound. The right lane is blocked by this stalled vehicle there, westbound 40 at Fessler's. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I know you're having a better day than Murphy. Murphy's nursing that shoulder, man. 5.5 hours of shoulder surgery to replace the one that God gave him with one from Temu. Matt Murphy is nursing that shoulder back to health. He should be rejoining the broadcast next week, maybe remote, maybe in studio. I'm not sure. I think whatever he does, he's going to do. But he's been sending me voice notes, and we're having these medicated moments with Matt Murphy, and they're really magical on a certain level. They really are. You cut through the core, and we're getting 100% raw Murphy, thanks to the opioids that have been prescribed to him after he had this surgery. So without further ado, we're going to do it at the top of the hour for as long as this guy keeps sending me voice notes. This is a medicated moment with Matt Murphy.
My surgeon, Dr. Hageman, just called me and said that I had more osteophytes than he had ever seen, and that Dr. Marinu, who's working with him, said the same thing. So I've got that going for me, which is nice. I was so happy, I immediately got off the phone and looked up the word osteophyte.
That's been a medicated moment with Matt Murphy.
No definition there?
No, he didn't. No, he doesn't. He's not. We're not paying him for the definition. We're paying him for the moment. You have to define that on your own. You have to Google it yourself. Are you Googling it right now? Yeah, of course you are. There are people in traffic right now being completely reckless, Googling osteophyte. It's with a PH, by the way, and a Y. I did the same thing. Come on, Jackson, enlighten us.
They are the bone spurs we were talking about yesterday, the bony growths that develop along the edges of bones, particularly in and around joints.
Dude, they said he had like 1.5 pounds of bone spurs in there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Rough.
That is brutal.
They said it was supposed to take 3 hours. The surgery took them 5.5.
Him walking around with all that in there.
Just hammer and chisel in there. Chink, chink, tink, 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 tink. Getting that bone spur off. I would assume that's how they do it.
I hope.
You would think so. So Murphy is he's at home. He's nursing that shoulder, and he's giving us medicated moments with Matt every now and again. We learned something today, didn't we?
Osteophytes,
exactly. Hey, I got a lot more to cover. So, Ken, you've been reporting in the news that CNN, the worldwide leader in news, CNN is saying that they didn't get much out of that bomb, the massive ordnance penetrator.
Well, what the sources for these media outlets are reporting is that preliminary assessments indicate that it set back Iran's nuclear program by months.
By months.
Yeah.
By months. And it's CNN is reporting this. CNN is one of the leaders reporting this.
Yeah, CNN. Well, now you got them all. It started out with the New York Times, then the Associated Press, and now everybody.
Well,
is going off.
If you're watching on YouTube, I want to throw this tweet up on the screen. Our friend Maze Moore, great Twitter account to follow. He's compiled some headlines, and CNN last week, the headline was, Israel says Iran was racing toward a nuclear weapon. U.S. intel says it was years away. That was the headline on June 17th, 2025. The headline today at 3 o'clock, CNN exclusive. Early U.S. intel suggests American strikes did not destroy Iran's nuclear sites and likely only set the program back by months. The program that they previously reported was years away. Am I tracking? I think I'm tracking. I'm tracking this. I'm doing my best. And then what's her name? Erin Burnett. She reported this on CNN herself. This was June 19th. You ready? This is Erin Burnett on June 19th.
This timeline of Iran being a few weeks away from a nuclear bomb is in direct contradiction to CNN's reporting. According to U.S. intelligence assessments, Iran is 3 years away from being able to produce a nuclear weapon if they wanted to. So the facts on Iran getting a nuclear weapon do not bear out the claim at the heart of what has put the world on the verge of world war.
So that was June 19th, okay? That was June 19th. And now we have Erin Burnett today singing a different tune.
It only set back the Iranian nuclear program by months. We got to call it like it is. It's a big deal.
Oh. So the program that was years away is now only set back months. Got it. Are you keeping score at home? Listen, I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm not going to be able to tell you if the program was set back months. I'm not going to be able to tell you if the program was years away, if they were weeks away. I have no idea. All I know is that I can point out the fact that CNN is not operating with any model of consistency whatsoever. New information can change your mind, though. Hey, what do I know? I do know that J.D. Vance was on the Charlie Kirk show today, and he said that what we witnessed was a foreign policy reset from the Trump administration. This is J.D. Vance earlier today with Charlie Kirk on the Charlie Kirk show, again, saying that we witnessed a foreign policy reset. He goes on to say, I think a lot of people in our generation, talking to Charlie Kirk, assume that every single time we do anything in the Middle East, that it's necessarily going to lead to some protracted quagmire, and the president was just not interested in that. And listen, I was in that camp 100%. 100%. I did not want anything to do with this. I thought that if the U.S. got involved, it had to be a long, drawn-out quagmire. That wasn't the case. They're reporting today that the Associated Press is that Trump told Netanyahu, don't expect any more additional offensive military action against Iran from the United States of America. That is not what they're looking for, point blank, period. It's not going to happen. It's just not. I'm grateful for that. This was my biggest fear with this whole entire thing, is that we were going to see this drawn-out, long conflict. And a lot of people assumed that that was going to be the case. J.D. Vance saying that earlier today on the Charlie Kirk show. If this clip will load. It was just playing a second ago.
I want to ask you, the complexity of being able to have no nuclear program for Iran, to have no troops on the ground, no nation building, and no U.S. troops. I mean, that's pitching a perfect game. I hope everyone in the audience understands how unique and rare this is. Mr. Vice President, can you add more detail to that? Because to have all those no's, no troops on the ground, no permanent war, no quagmire, no U.S. troops dead, and no nukes for Iran, that is a dream.
Yeah, it would have been a oceanfront property in Arizona if you had told me this last week. It would have been selling me a bridge in San Francisco if you had told me that this was going to be the outcome last week. I wouldn't have believed you. I didn't think that there was any reasonable way that could happen, yet here we are today.
Yeah, that's right. It really is a dream, Charlie. And I think you and I are similar age. We grew up in the same generation. I think a lot of people in our generation assume that every single time we do anything in the Middle East, that is necessarily going to lead to some protracted quagmire.
Totally.
And the president was just not interested in that. And I think that, yes, the president deserves great credit for destroying the nuclear program and pressing the reset on the Iranian nuke program. But I actually think he pressed the reset button on a generation of failed American foreign policy. He basically said it is actually possible for Americans to go and do important things in the American interest and then to get out.
Hold that thought.
And
yeah, it's doable. You can go do something important and you can go get out. I honestly had my doubts. I had my doubts big time. And I thought this was the last thing that we wanted to stick our nose into. Donald Trump, I should have trusted more. The way he handled it, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, down to the rhetoric that he put on social media. Within 2 weeks, planes in the sky that night, just unbelievable. And he's informed the Israeli prime minister, the Associated Press is reporting this, that he told Netanyahu, we're not getting involved anymore. They said after Sunday's U.S. strikes, Trump conveyed his position in a private conversation with Netanyahu. Senior White House official said the president views the Iranian threat as neutralized. No more need for the United States military to help out. And with the ceasefire in place, as long as it holds, this is a monumental victory. 0 American casualties. The president deserves all the praise coming his way. Yet, there are 2 groups that are very upset, and it's the neocons and it's the liberals, as always. J.D. Vance is right, though. We watched a foreign policy reset. I had no idea that this was even a possible scenario. And if you had told me that this is how it was going to shake out last week, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. I would have. And you're seeing the Democrats line up. Democrats are mad. They wanted to be informed. They wanted to be filled in. Jasmine Crockett, new face of the Democrat Party. Jasmine Crockett. Don't interrupt her while she's speaking because, hey, give them all the rope they need. Jasmine Crockett, she was very upset because Donald Trump didn't reach out to her for approval.
Money. Let me tell you, just dropping those few bombs in one day, that was the beginning of what is going to be a very long bill for us as they talk about being efficient. There was nothing efficient about doing it. And maybe if there was some consultation, maybe with those that say have constitutional authority, since we care about the Constitution, then maybe we could have saved the American people not only money, but the lives that are now at risk as we have to put out warnings for American citizens in this country and abroad. Maybe we need to start leading with the people at the middle of what it is that is guiding us.
Yeah, let's lead with the people at the middle of what it is that is guiding us.
Instead of following one person. The reason that people like me say things like y'all are in a cult is because somehow people are abdicating their duties and abdicating the very people that put them into office.
Listen, I think I speak for all of us when I say slay, queen, slay. I think that's the only thing that you can say there. Maybe throw in a finger snap. Maybe. Do we do the thing? Slay, queen, slay. Woo! She's a firebrand, isn't she? Little firecracker, Jasmine Crockett. Nothing efficient about it. It's going to start a longer conflict. My brain's hurting. The one that we just got a ceasefire for? Is that the one? Nothing efficient about it? 37 hours, refueling in midair, getting in, getting out. Nobody sees you. You drop all these bombs with precision. Precision, man. You take out everything. Nothing efficient about that, actually. It's, whoa. Jeez. I have to recalibrate what is efficient and what is not, because I thought that was a model of efficiency. No, maybe not. Maybe I have to do some more research on efficiency. Jasmine Crockett. It's going to start a longer war. It's over. It's over. And now Donald Trump is going to meet with NATO guys today and tomorrow, and he's going to focus on Russia, Ukraine. Let's go. Let's get more peace on the menu. Jasmine Crockett, though, she's a gem. Hey, by the way, the Democrats, she was trying to get the top spot on the House Oversight Committee for the Democrats. She wanted to be the top Dem on the panel, and she lost. The Democrats said, it'd be better if you didn't. It'd be better if you didn't. New York Post has a story. Outspoken progressive rep Jasmine Crockett dropped her bid Tuesday to become the top Democrat on the powerful House Oversight Committee after it became clear that she lacked the votes. Oh, you couldn't even win a committee panel? Jeez. That's tough. She says, it was clear by the numbers that my style of leadership is not exactly what they were looking for. And so I didn't think that it was fair for me to then push forward and try to rebuke that. Let me translate that for you. That's Democrat speak for leadership said no. Leadership said no. So I had to listen and remove myself from contention, which is exactly what happened. Democrats later anointed Rep. Robert Garcia to become their ranking member on the Oversight Committee, replacing Jerry Connolly, Democrat out of Virginia, who died last month. Yep. So, Garcia, you're up. Jasmine Crockett, that's enough. That's enough. She's been all over the place. She actually said the other day that the president should have hollered at her. She said that. He should have hollered at me. And I just went back to you ever see that Chappelle Show sketch? Hey, let me holler at you. Holla, 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 holla. She said that. You should have hollered at me.
Oh, yes. Hold on a minute. Let me call Jasmine.
Jasmine just wanted to holla.
Wow.
Slay, Queen, slay. It's 5:21. Chris Hand in for Matt Murphy. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Tennessee Men's Clinic is your one-stop shop for all things men's health. Obviously, gentlemen, I encourage you to go there. I encourage you to give them a call and make an appointment for one of their qualified urologists. Whatever your situation might be, if it is energy related, if you're just not seeing gains at the gym, if you're just not motivated to get to the gym, or perhaps that energy is you're losing a step or two for bedroom activity. I understand that's a sensitive topic for a lot of guys, but men, you don't have to talk to me about it. You need to talk to Tennessee Men's Clinic about it because they have solutions for you. They can get you back right again, back on the path again. All you need to do is make the call that so many others have made to Tennessee Men's Clinic. Thousands of men have been assisted by Evan Bass and his team at Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com or stop by either of those two locations. You can schedule an appointment there too. Cool Springs and the original Midtown location, been there since 2014. They can offer you solutions, get you back to the energy levels that you've become accustomed to. Come on, guys. Let's do this for you and your intimacy with your spouse. Call at 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
A threat of mass violence at a Middle Tennessee Walmart. We've got that story and other top stories coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver, just absolutely a madman back in the newsroom. You're busy, man.
I am, dude.
Is this the busiest you've ever seen it?
Today or
Just in
kind
general?
of in general?
Just in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of it has to do with social media because everything is immediate.
Yeah, it is. It is. My name is Chris Ham, by the way. I'm filling in for Matt Murphy. Normally I do 9 to noon. If you work at the same time that I work, you don't get a chance to listen to my show often. Good opportunity for us to meet each other. Hey, how are you? You doing good? Cool. I love it. Please check out the podcast if you want to find my show after I host for Murphy for this week. Would love for you to join us over there. So the podcasts are available on Apple and Spotify. We talked a lot about the neocons. We talked a lot about the left. They tried to impeach Trump. They failed. 79 Democrats actually voted for it. Idiots. But anyway, that happened. But we haven't really talked about like the people. How are the Democrat voters doing through all this? You know what I mean? Has anybody checked on them? Anybody? I found one Democrat voter who's really just she's having a tough time. I don't want to assume pronouns, but I think she's having a tough time.
I just want to know how I'm supposed to do my job when we bombed Iran and we're just supposed to like go around about. We're just supposed to get these boxes out without being worried. I just need somebody to explain to me how I'm supposed to not crash out.
That's an Amazon worker, and she doesn't know how she can work because we bombed Iran.
Educate yourself, young lady.
How am I supposed to move these boxes without crashing out? Well, the same way you would have moved them the day before. Just put them. You just put them on the truck, and then you go. How am I supposed to deliver these boxes? You just follow the GPS to the house and just put them at the front door. Like, listen, I've never done it, but I've seen you guys do it a few times. You take the picture, boom, got it. Then you get back in the truck, you keep going.
Yeah. Hopefully it's air conditioned.
How am I supposed to do this?
I just want to know how I'm supposed to do my job when we bombed Iran.
Isn't their voice the worst?
Yeah.
Now, listen, if you're watching on the stream, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see this stuff that I'm about to talk about, but I got to do theater of the mind for our radio friends. She has a lanyard on that is it's a rainbow. I'm assuming it's not a symbol of the covenant that God made with the people. It's my guess. I'm assuming she's wearing it for another reason. Huge hoop earrings and very upset. Because how can she do her job at Amazon without crashing out?
And we're just supposed to like go around about. We're just supposed to get these boxes out.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, people paid for them. Oh, and you're getting paid.
She's on the clock. She's making social media videos. How am I supposed to do this without crashing out? How am I? You know, we have nincompoops in the news coming on again. And if I lose again today, you know how I'm going to feel about the rest of my show?
Without being worried.
Like, how am I going to do this?
I just need somebody to explain to me how I'm supposed to not crash out.
If I lose nincompoops in the news, how am I supposed to continue on without crashing out?
Dude, you may have just won.
I may have. I got a good one for today.
All right.
And I made sure that it happened within the last week because I'm not getting disqualified again. I did. I'm not given the opportunity to get DQ'd again. My kids were so disappointed in me. Said first time on Nincompoops in the news and you got DQ'd? My 7-year-old, he's like weak. And then he did this John Cena you can't see me thing and I felt completely demasculated. So I said, where did you learn that? He said, you can't see me. I wouldn't have got DQ'd. I said, go to your room. I said, get out. I said, go to your room. Punk. I'm not going to lose today. Nincompoops in the news on the way next. 5:30, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. It is hot out there, folks. Right now, the heat index sitting at 100 degrees. The real temperature is 92 right now in Nashville. So that rain we had downtown about an hour ago really didn't do much to cool things off significantly.
How are we supposed to do this weather without crashing out? That's what I want to know.
Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Speaking of crashing out, reports say a man has been arrested and charged for making threats of mass violence against a Walmart in Hendersonville, here in Middle Tennessee. Police say they were told of the threats of a mass shooting sent to the Walmart on North Anderson Lane. They say it led them to 37-year-old Patrick Michael Ehringer as the suspect. They say he was angry over a failed relationship and decided to harass an employee there at the Walmart. He's being held on a $200,000 bond. He has a court hearing on July 9th. And reports are circulating that two people claiming to be familiar with an early intelligence assessment on Saturday night's strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities set back Iran's nuclear ambition by months, challenging the use of the word obliterated by President Trump. Here's what the White House says.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, in response to our reporting and from CNN, she is blasting it, saying that this is a result of, quote, low-level loser leakers. And let me just read you part of her statement. She says, quote, this assessment and the leak is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration.
Meanwhile, on the southern border, Fox News reporting new data shows illegal crossings at record lows amid the Trump administration crackdown. Customs and Border Patrol says between June 1st and Sunday, there have been 5,414 apprehensions at the border, with the busiest sector being El Paso. During that same time frame, there have been 986 known gotaways, both numbers the lowest ever recorded. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, still got the brake tapping going in the usual places, but a few obstacles to try to get around as well. We've got a crash off on the right shoulder, but it's still backing people up. 65 northbound past Rosa Parks Boulevard. 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane. Police are reporting a crash there. Now going the other way, we've got a stalled vehicle on 40 westbound there at Fessler's Lane, and that is blocking the right lane. I-24 westbound near Springfield, Ashland City Highway, 49 exit 24 in Pleasant View. Highway Patrol says there's a crash there. And in Murfreesboro, we got a report of pipes in the roadway. 24 eastbound at Old Fort Parkway. That's exit 78. Highway Patrol on that. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're with Tony with Cabinet Solutions, and you guys know that I've been telling you for all of your cabinet needs in your home, you need to get to see Tony in Hendersonville at Cabinet Solutions. What's going on, Tony?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Man, I am great. I know it's summertime, the living's easy, but you guys are blowing and going, getting people some great ideas for their cabinets in their kitchen, in their bathroom, all throughout the house. Talk to us about it.
You're right. We provide cabinets for the whole house. That includes outdoor and garage. And for those who have not heard about us, we've got 15 brands and many price points, including custom cabinets. And so, you know, you guys, if you're thinking about, hey, I would like to have some new cabinetry and update my spaces, but I don't have all the money together right now, I'll get to you later. Well, listen, that's okay. We've got financing options here available for you. And so some of those options are interest-free as well. So you can continue to save your money while you've got your cabinets.
Let me tell you something. It's a one-stop shop when it comes to all things cabinetry and more at My Cabinet Solutions in Hendersonville, and it's as easy as stopping by the website, right, Tony? MyCabinetSolution.com?
It is. MyCabinetSolution.com, and you go to the Contact tab, fill out that quick and easy form that comes directly to me, and then I can get right back at them personally.
There's Tony with My Cabinet Solutions online at MyCabinetSolution.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for Alpha and Omega Computer Consultants. Alpha and Omega is not new to the managed services industry. They have been around serving Middle Tennessee, small, medium, and large-sized businesses with incredible and exceptional IT service and cybersecurity since 1998, and I'm proud to be able to tell you all about them. Their services include 24/7 protection from evolving threats, compliance for all industries, business continuity, fast local help desk support. 70% of cyber attacks target small to medium-sized businesses. If you don't think you can be attacked, you need to call Alpha and Omega and talk to one of their incredible consultants. Because if you call, they can tell you some of the issues that they've seen over the past several years that potentially could come after you. If you're a business owner, 14 successful ransomware attacks happen every day. Think about that. 14 successful ransomware attacks. Call Alpha and Omega to avoid being one of the 14. If you're renewing your annual IT contract, don't settle for the same old support. Alpha and Omega delivers fewer problems, faster response, and service that actually works. Call now for a free quote. Friends, if you're a business owner, you owe it to yourself to have a conversation with our buddies at Alpha and Omega. 615-784-0096. 784-0096, or go to ANDO.net. That's the letter A and the letter O.net.
.538 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Filling in for Matt Murphy. Matt got a shoulder replacement. I told him to tough it out, and he said, no, I need a week. That's what I was like, Matt, you're tough.
Yeah.
He said, no. He's like, if they had given me an American shoulder, I'd be in there, but this one's from Temu. So.
Yeah, it's sanctioned by the CCP.
It is. He's a quarter Chinese now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Matt Murphy will be back next week. In the meantime, I'm filling the void. Appreciate you listening, however you're listening. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. Love my guys on the FM dial. Want you to try out YouTube if you've never watched the show. Super Talk TV is up. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. That's our personal favorite. That's where the chat's always jumping. And we always have video elements for the audio that you hear on your radio. Worth a watch here. If you want to watch something again, you can always go to the YouTube channel. It lives there forever, and you can queue it up and watch it at your leisure. But without further ado, it is time for Nincompoops in the News. So I know, and I remember from yesterday, sort of, you guys have some rules. There's some nincompoop etiquette.
Yeah.
If you will.
Etiquette.
There's rules to the game.
There are, yeah.
Now, if I recall correctly, it's the previous day's winner has to go first.
Yes.
And for the record, I also want to clarify, I think that is garbage. I think that the winner should really be choosing their spot. I think there's a bit of recency bias, and I think it really ruins the chances for a repeat or a three-peat. Just me. But I can't change the rules. That's Murphy's thing.
Yeah, that's Brother Murphy.
Although
I could probably talk him into it while he's medicated.
Did we invoke the Nincompoop's 15th Amendment?
What is the Nincompoop's 15th Amendment?
Murphy is incapacitated.
Oh, whoa. I didn't know we could do that. I should change the whole thing then.
Look at Brother Jackson.
I'm going to need to see those bylaws during the break.
Yeah.
It's a big book.
Got the Nincompoops Constitution memorized.
The Ninstitution. All right, so Ken, if we're playing by the rules on the field, you got to go first today, man.
Oh, okay. So I won?
Yeah, you won yesterday.
All right.
You had a naked pole vaulter, right?
Yeah, naked guy pole vaulting into a lady's backyard.
I mean, that's hard to beat.
I thought I was going to have to fight a naked man. All right, this one comes from my mom. My mom helping me out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A man is in jail after police say he broke into a Tulsa apartment with two women sleeping inside. Officers sent a canine inside to get him. Police say the man also tried to fight the canine. When an officer arrived at the scene, body cam video shows there are 2 women outside their apartment. One of them says, I wake up to somebody breaking stuff in my house and throwing stuff. Then he takes off his pants.
Oh, no.
I run over to my roommate, and I'm like, there's a man in our apartment without any pants. Then the officers heard asking if either of the women has pets and if they would be okay with letting a canine enter their apartment, and they agreed.
Yeah.
Terrified by the guy without pants.
I mean, think about how the guy without pants felt. All of a sudden, there's a German Shepherd coming for him, and he doesn't have pants on.
Exactly. So the officer retrieves his canine. Video shows him opening the apartment door and telling this man twice that he's Tulsa police and has a canine and to come outside with nothing in his hands or he could get bitten.
Ooh.
And this is what the dog sounded like. Well, that's not going to play for me.
That's a weird sounding
That's an
dog.
interesting dog. It sounds like one of those robot MIT dogs that we're sending into war.
I was getting ready to say, man. All right, here we go. So TPD says, come out or then we're going to send the dog in. Now the dog finds the man, and police are telling him to put his hands behind his back. The canine bites him in the leg. Then the police are heard saying, get off the canine!
Hey, quit grabbing the dog! Get off the dog!
Officers get the man handcuffed. They get him checked out by an ambulance, and then they're seen trying to figure out what's going on. So an officer in the video is trying to explain it to this fella.
Well, you're in an apartment that doesn't belong to you, and you scared the crap out of some ladies that live here. And so we did announcements for the apartment, and nobody came out, so we sent a canine in. And they found you. And you weren't wanting to go into handcuffs, so that's why the reason for the resisting. And then we finally got you in the handcuffs.
You say what?
So
he's not having a good day.
No, they took him to the hospital for treatment, and he apparently told police that he had had a lot to drink.
Yeah.
Didn't remember being in someone else's apartment, said his girlfriend lived in that same complex, but he did not remember what unit was hers. Now, here's the deal. Is he the nincompoop, or are these 2 ladies for leaving their apartment unlocked?
That's up to the audience.
Yeah.
I would say for not having a firearm and shooting the stranger without any pants, you're probably a nincompoop. I also thought that the story was going to take a weird turn there for a second.
Oh, yeah?
Because when you said the officers yelled, get off the dog.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened at a dog park? This video went viral a few weeks back. There's a huge German Shepherd biting like a little puppy. Oh. And a hero emerged. And I guess one of the ways that you get a German Shepherd or any dog to stop biting you is to insert an appendage, if you will, a finger in the rectum of the dog. There's a video going around of this guy. He's trying to save this puppy, and he's going at the back of this German Shepherd with his finger. So I didn't know if that's where the story was going to go when the police officers said, get off the dog.
Yeah, no, they were going to... Well, they might have had some billy sticks they could have used. That would have been something. Because I remember he didn't have his britches on.
No britches. He dodged a bullet that day. All
yes,
right.
sir.
Thank you, Ken, for your installment.
You boys are you're very welcome.
Jackson, what do you got?
I got a Florida man buys mask at gas station to burglarize the bank across the street. A Florida man was caught on video purchasing a mask from a gas station before walking across the street to burglarize an unlocked bank on Saturday, according to Martin County Sheriff's Office around 7 p.m. Colton, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, 33 of Hope Sound, was caught on surveillance video at a gas station buying the mask, and then he tried to go across the street to a Wells Fargo bank, which was closed but left unlocked, and began rummaging through drawers and cabinets. All of them were empty, so he left. Deputies received a call from the bank's monitoring system of a bank robbery in progress after they spotted a masked man inside, and following the building's alarm going off, the sheriff's office surrounded the bank. No one was inside, and the suspect was long gone, but all he got out of the robbery attempt was he was out $5 for the mask. An unsuccessful robbery attempt.
I love how both your stories involve unlocked doors, causing a bit of confusion.
Yeah, and that's a bank.
That's a bank.
Can't leave the bank unlocked.
Which is worse, though? Leaving your apartment unlocked or leaving the bank unlocked?
Apartment.
I don't know. You're not going to get fired for leaving the apartment unlocked.
Yeah, you could get killed doing that.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
That's fair. It's a little bit worse.
But I bet you somebody gets fired at that bank.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, for sure. I think that's like the one thing. Like, make sure you lock up.
Yeah, lock the door. Lock the door. It's kind of important.
One job.
Make sure to test that lock.
All right, so we have the bank robber. We have the home intruder. I have one for you, also from Florida.
All right.
Cocky fugitive social media challenge to sheriff backfires in spectacular fashion. It's from June 20th. I was not going back too far.
Right.
So I'm not getting DQ'd again. A wanted Florida man has been arrested after a series of social media posts taunting the Polk County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Grady Judd for not being able to catch him. The Polk County Sheriff's Office and the Lakeland Police Department shared a series of Facebook posts by 29-year-old Aaron Donta Johnson, who was a wanted man for violating a pretrial release condition. He posted on their Facebook page, "Y'all too busy fishing. That's why y'all didn't catch me when I left my grandma's house today." That's Johnson said that in a post to Judd's department. And then he said, "Should have waited a bit longer. Y'all accepted the challenge, right? Hashtag Grady can't find me. Hashtag come again, Grady." The post, laden with poor grammar and bad spelling, appeared to be a dig towards Judd and his department for being too late to the scene. But that did not stop Judd and his team from responding to Johnson and taking on the challenge. "Spoken like a true man who takes responsibility for your actions," the sheriff's office wrote. "No worries. We will find you. Bet." As the post continued, Johnson told the sheriff's office, "I done outran y'all several times." Several times. Not several times.
Yeah.
"I done outran y'all several times."
Was it D-U-N or D-O-N-E?
D-O-N-E.
Okay, got that. All right.
Hashtag come try again, Grady. It just feels like them Duke boys are up to it again.
That's right.
And the sheriff's office replied, said, "Challenge accepted." So in the final post shared by the sheriff's office, Johnson responded, "Okay, I'll give you and your crew a head start. Y'all couldn't catch me on foot or in Dakar last time. Maybe you gonna need a horse or your helicopter. Hashtag level up. Hashtag I'm gone, Grady."
I'm gone, Grady.
I'm gone, Grady. Level up, baby. Level up. If we're dealing with GTA, he's like, "You got me on 2 stars.
Right.
You're gonna need a horse." Also accepting the challenge, unbeknownst to Johnson, was the Lakeland Police Department after he bragged about not being caught despite having multiple felony warrants issued against him. Johnson was ultimately captured by the Lakeland Police Department, who transported him to Polk County. What Aaron didn't know is that we got their backs, Lakeland Police wrote on social media when Aaron Johnson jumped on Facebook and challenged the Polk County Sheriff's Office, bragging he couldn't be caught despite having multiple felony warrants. Our LPD officer said, "Challenge accepted." Today, that little game ended, the police department continued. Our officers and detectives tracked him down and personally delivered him to the deputies at Polk County Jail. Nice try, Aaron. Nice try. Maybe next time, but probably not. So do you think that he still has bragging rights because Polk County didn't catch him after all?
Well, I would be careful if I was him because he is in the Polk County Jail.
That's fair. That's fair. He's been in and out of Polk County Jail several times since at least 2015 on charges including drug possession, driving on a suspended license, domestic assault, burglary, and written threat to kill or injure another person. According to jail records, he now faces several charges, including violation of pretrial release conditions. No word on if it was the horse or the helicopter that did him in.
I want to know how they got him.
I hope it was a horse. I just do. And if it wasn't, I don't want you to tell me. That's the fantasy I want to live on.
I want a picture of him in handcuffs propped on the back of the horse.
Just hogtied and being dragged.
Yeah. He's hogtied and he's laying over the saddle.
All right, so we got the taunting man. Sheriffs can't catch him. We have naked man in the ladies' apartment who fights a dog. And then we have Jackson's, I'm going to buy a mask and rob a bank across the street.
Yep.
maybe go a little bit further when you're going to buy your supplies.
That was well planned.
Yeah, he nailed that one. All right, get your votes in on the text line, 615-737-9986. You can also weigh in on the YouTube chat if you want to drop your comment there on who you think wins. And we'll be back with more on the Matt Murphy Show when we return. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center wants to see you. Dr. Brian McLaughlin is now in charge of the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center, and he comes with the same exceptional credentials as Dr. Stephen Poss, who started the company so many years ago. With 2 locations in Murfreesboro and Brentwood to serve.
Jesus came to earth the first time to save the world. The next time he comes will be to condemn the world and those who have refused to accept him as their Lord and Savior. Christians are co-heirs with Christ and possess full rights as sons and inherit salvation, eternal life, the earth, the kingdom of God, and all things. If you're not a Christian and have wondered about eternal life, God may be drawing you. Accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, for only God can save you.
No matter what I've ever done.
No matter what I've ever done.
No matter what you've ever done.
But what about?
No matter what you've ever done.
Even if?
You are no longer condemned, no matter what you have ever done. Non-cancelable, guaranteed reservation in heaven when you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Learn how now.
President Trump is in the Netherlands for the NATO summit, but it's going to be a packed 24 hours because he's back here in the U.S. tomorrow night. An early U.S. intelligence report suggests the strikes against Iranian nuclear sites set back Iran's nuclear program by a few months. We'll tell you about it at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Looking forward to the newscast, as always, at 6 o'clock. My name is Chris Hand. I'm filling in for Matt Murphy. Appreciate you listening, however you may be listening on iHeartRadio. Tune in, the FM dial. If you're watching us on YouTube, Super Talk TV, hello, how are you? Hit like, hit subscribe. Appreciate that. All right, guys, if it wasn't for Ken's mom, I would have ran away with this thing.
Unanimous?
It would have been a flawless victory. 100%.
2 in a row.
But we got a few votes in there because Ken's mom came in with an assist for Ken's story. I feel like that's cheating, boys.
Thanks, Mom.
I feel like that's cheating. I still won. Don't get too excited.
Way to go, Brother Hand.
I know.
2 for 2.
Listen. Well, no, I lost yesterday.
Oh yeah, you did.
I lost big time. My son was making fun of me. My 7-year-old. He did the John Cena. You can't see me. You got DQ'd. Like, why would you do that? So yeah, that's my first W on Nincompoops in the News.
That's way to go, Brother Hand.
Hey, I just want to thank the guy that taunted the sheriff's office on Facebook.
Yeah.
Without him, none of this would be possible. So kudos to you. I still want to know if they had to send out the helicopter or the horse to get you.
Yeah.
But part of me doesn't want to know. I want to believe that it was the horse.
I do too.
Who doesn't? Hey, on the way after 6 o'clock, the news with Ken Weaver. We're going to have another medicated moment with our friend and radio partner, Matt Murphy. He's under some heavy meds, and he's got some thoughts on theme songs
and giving advice.
Yes, he's here for it. We're here for it too. I'll bring you another medicated moment with Matt Murphy on the way, plus some updates on immigration. I used to say updates on the border. We don't have to do updates on the border anymore. It's updates on immigration next on Super Talk.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Checking here to see if maybe we're cooling down a little bit. It looks like right now in Nashville, we're sitting at 94 degrees. And no, we're not cooling off. Heat index, 102. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes along with the traffic. President Trump has landed in the Netherlands for the NATO summit after spending a good part of the flight over there trying to keep together that Israel-Iran ceasefire, which he did. President Trump reportedly telling Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu not to take further military action against Iran. Sources say Netanyahu, quote, understood the severity of the situation and the concerns the president expressed. An early U.S. intelligence report suggesting the strikes against Iranian nuclear sites set back Iran's nuclear program by months. This, according to whom the Associated Press and New York Times and now all the media saying are sources. Senate Majority Leader John Thune was asked today if he agreed with President Trump's assessment that it had been completely and totally obliterated.
Well, I'm not sure I have, you might want to hear from Senator Cotton, who chairs the Intelligence Committee, an answer on the full extent. But we know for sure that their nuclear program was set back considerably, and that is a victory.
Meanwhile, in Washington, Speaker Mike Johnson says the White House classified a bipartisan briefing for all House members will be held Friday. The National Transportation Safety Board is holding a hearing today about that incident on an Alaska Airlines jet last year where a door plug flew off mid-flight. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more.
The preliminary report from the NTSB last year found evidence the door plug, after being serviced by Spirit Aerosystems employees at Boeing's factory, was closed with no bolts in several locations. Those missing bolts are ultimately what led to the door plug detaching, according to NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy.
Several barriers of defense must fail for the error to lead to an accident.
The agency says the finalized report will be available in several weeks. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Entertainment news. Bobby Sherman, a teen idol in the 60s and 70s, has passed away. He released about 24 singles during that period. One of them is Little Woman.
Hey, little woman, please make up your mind.
Sherman later became an actor, and in the 90s, he became an EMT, reserve police officer with the LAPD, also a reserve deputy sheriff with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Sherman revealed he had cancer earlier this year. He was 81 when he passed. And then there is this. Mick Ralphs, guitarist and founding member of Bad Company and Matt the Hoople, has died. He helped Paul Rodgers write this one. Ralphs set to become a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Bad Company in November. But ever since 2016's stroke he suffered, he's never been the same, and he apparently passed away yesterday at the age of 81. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash with the right lane blocked, 65 northbound at Armory Drive. And then police say there's one over in the Gulch, 40 westbound at Broadway, exit 209B. Then another crash reported by police in Donaldson, Lebanon Pike, just west of Briley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
.607 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand filling in for the one and only Matt Murphy, who is out. He's got his shoulder replaced. I mean, it sounds brutal. 5.5 hours in surgery this guy had to deal with. I don't know who I feel worse for, Murphy or the doctors. It's a tough shake. But Murphy is on the mend, and he's been sending us updates. And we're calling these medicated moments with Matt Murphy. And we're going to do it at the top of every hour while he's out, as long as the voice notes keep coming. Who knows where this shakes out towards the end of the week. But as of right now, I'm getting a lot of voice notes from Murphy. So I want to bring you, without further ado, another medicated moment with Matt Murphy.
Y'all know that Law and Order has the most famous oboe solo in the world, right? And it's not even close. Go ahead. Name another one. Just name one. Boom.
That's been another medicated moment with Matt Murphy on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And that one might be my favorite.
The boom at the end.
That's pretty good.
The boom.
Boom.
He showed us, man. He showed us.
So what's the oboe? What sound does the oboe make? I didn't even know that I needed to know this.
I don't know if that was an oboe, but
he is medicated.
Yeah.
I did. All right, so I Googled it.
That may be an oboe.
And somebody said clarinet. Is that in the same family? I'm musically illiterate.
They're
and
woodwinds.
I apologize.
Yeah, they are woodwinds. Way to go, Brother Jackson.
So is Murphy confusing an oboe and a clarinet?
It could be.
Probably.
I'm not going to blame Matt.
Is he talking about the theme song?
Well, let's listen to it one more time. This is the only one we've played twice. I'm not going to get in the habit of it. But a medicated moment with Matt Murphy on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Y'all know that Law & Order has the most famous oboe solo in the world. Right?
In the world.
And it's not even close. Go ahead. Name another one. Just name one. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. You can't even name another song that an oboe's in. Boom. That might be the best part. We might need to isolate that for the drop board.
Boom.
Boom. I mean, you can tell, like, he took those meds 30, 45 minutes ago.
Boom. Those are just kicking in.
Yeah, I mean, this one definitely has more of a drawl than any of the other ones that we've had so far.
I feel like it's gotten progressively more medicated as we've gone through the show.
It's like they're M&Ms.
Boom.
That's what he's doing. He's just popping them like Tic Tacs.
We got to save that. Boom.
Oh, that's got to go on the board.
Boom.
Boom. Matt, you doing all right? You feeling good? Surgery success?
Boom.
All right. Name another song with an oboe solo. You can't. Even when he's medicated, the man's right. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right, we do have a lot to get to, and we'll have more medicated moments from Matt all week long because it's funny and he's a good sport. So that is the best boom. We love Matt Murphy. Hope he's recovering well, and I appreciate him trusting me with his slot while he is away. And there's a lot to cover. I said we're gonna have some updates on immigration. And it's immigration now. It's not the border. It for a while. And maybe this is too much inside baseball, but I do my show sheets and I kind of break it down by like what the category is of the stories, because sometimes you get a story that's not going to fill a whole segment, and other times you can kind of string them together and you want to have good flow through your story. So I used to always label this section border, but that's completely changed. I mean, what we've seen Donald Trump do at the border is the biggest win that we can really point to. We're at 0 illegal aliens released into the country in the month of May. 0. Border crossings illegally gone down 93%. He did all of this without a new bill. He did all of this without bipartisan support. He did all of this without money. He did it by just enforcing the laws on the books. And it's been a massive, absolutely massive victory. Now, one of the fears that a lot of people have currently are sleeper cells, and sleeper cells from Iran in particular. And while I understand the fear, I don't see Iran, the country, activating their sleeper cells. I don't, because I think that would be bad for business for them right now. They're in a position with the ceasefire and hopefully moving towards some prosperity where they're not going to see a need for that. But Donald Trump was talking about this on Air Force One this morning. A reporter asked him about the potential of Iranian sleeper cells, and Donald Trump answered the question, as Donald Trump does. He doesn't shy away from these things. They don't force the press out of the room. He just answers whatever's thrown his way. So when he's asked about Iranian sleeper cells, he responds to the reporter with this.
Iranian sleeper cells in the United States?
Biden led a lot of super cells, and Biden was an incompetent president and had no idea what he was doing. hardly ever signed a document. Other people signed documents for him with the auto pen. It was gross incompetence. And among everything else, he let a lot of supercells in, many from Iran. But hopefully we'll take care of them. What Biden did to this country should never be forgotten.
Now, I'm not going to forget it. I know you won't forget it either. We understand what he did on the southern border. It wasn't just like he rescinded some Trump policies. He actively sued states to make the border less secure. Arizona had a shipping container wall that they built, an impromptu shipping container wall, and he sued Arizona to have them remove it. Texas, you had razor wire in Eagle Pass, sued them to remove it. You had the buoys in the Rio Grande, sued them to remove it. It wasn't just that he was rescinding Trump policies he didn't agree with. He was actively working against these states to make their border less secure. No. We should never forget what Biden and his administration, his regime did on the southern border. And while we're not forgetting it, we have to understand the realities of the people that he let in. Some of these individuals are bad actors. And maybe it's not Iranians. Maybe it's just a lunatic lone wolf. But it's something that we need to pay attention to. Tom Homan was asked about the threat of Iranian sleeper cells. And Tom Homan doesn't hold back. He was talking with Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business today. And he says, no, this is a significant threat. I make no mistake about it. It's a significant threat.
It was a significant threat. And I've been talking about this for 4 years.
I know you have.
I was a Fox News contributor before I came back with President Trump. And for 4 years, I said my biggest concern is the open border causes the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. You know, every day, the average under Biden administration, every single day, the average was 1,800 gotaways, known gotaways. People we had on video, drone traffic, sensor traffic. These are people we knew came to the United States, entered illegally. We don't know who they are, where they came from, why they're here. But they got away, and we know that number, 1,800 average every day. So every day I was complaining about the mess we had to clean up if we got back in power. And I tell you, ever since the election in November when President Trump won, I worked with a lot of people who's back with the administration now. We started the plans. How are we going to fix this? First, we got to plug the hole, secure the border. We had the most secure border in the history of the nation today because of President Trump. So we plugged the hole. Now we got to bail out the water, and that's what we started planning in November. We knew we had a big job to do, and we're working it.
Yeah, and they are working on it. And like Tom Homan said, listen, the Iranian sleeper cell stuff, definitely a significant threat. I think all of the radical Islamist jihadis that came through the southern border are a massive threat. Now, I would like to point to the fact that ICE is working on it. And since Sunday, ICE has arrested 11 Iranian nationals in the U.S. illegally across 8 states, including a former sniper from the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. CBS had this story this morning, and it's just good to know these guys are working behind the scenes to get their objectives accomplished.
The Department of Homeland Security says Yusuf Meridano had been living in the United States illegally for nearly 8 years since U.S. officials determined he lied on a visa application on Sunday, just 4 months after the Iranian foreign national was added to the U.S.'s known or suspected terrorist list. He was arrested in central Mississippi. He's now in ICE custody pending removal proceedings, and he's not alone. Over the past 48 hours, ICE officials have arrested 11 Iranian nationals spanning 8 states nationwide. Among them, 5 possessed previous criminal convictions, their crimes ranging from grand larceny to drug and firearm possessions. Also among those apprehended, Ribbar Karimi. While arresting him in northern Alabama, ICE officials say they found his Islamic Republic of Iran Army identification card and allege he served as an Iranian sniper between 2018 and 2021.
I mean, the Iranian sniper was in northern Alabama? Yeesh. That's a little close, is it not? But at least these guys are working, and they're cleaning up the mess that Biden left behind for him. And for that, I'm absolutely grateful. And we're seeing some big movement. Yesterday, SCOTUS once again backed Donald Trump, allowing deportations to third-party countries. There are some people that get all in a tizzy about this. Oh, they need their due process. They skip due process on the way in. I'm not really concerned about your due process on the way out, to be perfectly honest with you. And the Supreme Court doesn't really care where you go. Fun fact. Rwanda is pretty nice this time of year. Heard CCOT is very nice in El Salvador. But the Supreme Court on Monday ruled that the deportations of migrants to third-party countries can continue without additional due process requirements that were imposed by a district court judge. ABC News had the story. This will allow the case to continue through the lower courts. The order came after a deportation flight carrying men from Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Cuba, and Mexico was diverted to Djibouti after initially being scheduled to land in South Sudan. The rerouting was made to allow the individuals time to contest their deportation, according to U.S. officials. The men aboard the flight had been convicted of just some of the worst crimes that you could talk about, were murder, sexual assault, kidnapping, robbery. Officials say the individuals should not be allowed back into the U.S., but Judge Brian Murphy out of Massachusetts had ordered the Trump administration would have to maintain custody of illegal aliens that were flown to South Sudan. Murphy held an emergency hearing in May, not Matt Murphy, this judge out of Massachusetts. Judge Murphy held an emergency hearing in May and issued an order instructing the administration to maintain custody and control of class members currently being removed to South Sudan or to any third-party country to ensure the practical feasibility of return if the courts find that such removals were unlawful. Third countries are often used in cases where the illegal aliens' host countries don't want them back because, well, they're awful people. So you got to find a third-party country. SCOTUS ruling with the administration and Donald Trump on that, and it's a huge win. Stephen Miller wasted no time celebrating this win, as Stephen Miller is going to take a victory parade on this because he deserves it. Stephen Miller never holds back. And he talked about what this win means for the Trump administration.
This is an incredible victory, the Supreme Court win. It allows President Trump, as the law has long said, but the courts have blocked, it allows President Trump to send illegal aliens convicted of rape, murder, homicide, assault, battery, crimes against children to any country around the world that is willing to accept them. So whether that be South Sudan, or whether it be Somalia, or whether it be Ethiopia, any country in the world that is willing to accept these monsters, we can get them out of our country and be free of them forever. The only thing I have to share tonight, Sean, in a little bit of breaking news, is that the district court judge in Boston has said he's going to defy the Supreme Court's ruling. So expect fireworks tomorrow when we hold this judge accountable for refusing to obey the Supreme Court.
That was Stephen Miller last night. I've not seen any of the fireworks that he was talking about holding this judge accountable, and I've not seen any updates on whether or not the judge did defy the Supreme Court. But should he make that mistake and he wants to F around and find out, we'll bring you the updates right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. In the meantime, my name is Chris Hand, and yes, I'm filling in for Matt Murphy. Normally, I do 9 to noon. If you don't get the opportunity to listen to my show because you're working at the same time I'm working, I get it, but you can always get the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Hit subscribe. I appreciate when you do so. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, hit subscribe as well. We appreciate it. It helps me feed the kids. Got a lot of them. I got 4 kids. And if you don't want them to just have bread and water, it would really be helpful if you could just hit like on that YouTube channel. Appreciate it. 621. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Boom.
No such thing as too many, Ken Weaver. No such thing. It is 626 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm in for Matt Murphy. He got his shoulder removed and replaced. They got one from China, and it's really nice, they say. It's really nice. But the text line, they're blowing up about that last medicated moment with Matt. Have you seen this?
Have not.
A lot of people are saying, dude, it's definitely an oboe. 100% an oboe. And then I got somebody that texted in and said, I'm a professional clarinet player. And that's not an oboe. It's not an oboe.
I'm going to go with the professional on this one.
You would have to go with the professional. But many people are saying it's 100% an oboe. Many people are saying an oboe is a lower octave clarinet. And I think the one thing that everybody can agree on, though, is that it's the greatest boom of all time.
Boom.
Boom.
That's what everybody agrees on. Speaking of booms, you ready for this radio segue? Speaking of booms.
Boom.
The big boom that happened over the weekend in Iran. There's a lot of button of heads about whether or not we destroyed the Iran nuclear facilities. CNN, fake news. They're saying it didn't work. It didn't work at all. In fact, CNN put out an article. Natasha Bertrand wrote this article, and Carolyn Levitt has commented on it on X. Here, put this up on the screen for me. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the tweet from Carolyn Levitt. She says, fake news, CNN strikes again. This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous, low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration. That's Carolyn Levitt responding to the fake news that CNN has been pushing out that, oh no, the U.S. strikes damaged Fordo less than expected. They're still running it on CNN right now. They got it on the ticker, main thing on the Chiron. U.S. strikes damaged Fordo less than expected. That's the assessment. It's funny, though. Carolyn Levitt says this was leaked by some low-level loser in the intelligence community. Maybe it was a designed leak. Maybe they're trying to flush something out. Perhaps. But they're saying it's just flat out wrong. It's totally obliterated. Then she went on to say, though, this is my favorite part. You ready for this? She said, Natasha Bertrand, that sounds familiar, the person that wrote this article. And then she posted another tweet. You got that on the screen? Okay, this is perfect. She said, this CNN story was written by the same reporter, with quotes, who wrote the very first fake news story claiming the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation. How did that work out for you? And then she added her. She went at Natasha Bertrand. She didn't subtweet. She went full at. And then she posted that last headline that she's famous for when she said the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. Who do you trust, Donald Trump and this administration or fake news CNN? I'm rolling with Trump. 100%. 6:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. 6:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand, filling in for Matt Murphy. Matt got his shoulder replaced. They got him a new one from Temu, and he's out for the week, recovering. And we wish him well. He's been gracing us with his presence. We've had the medicated moments with Matt Murphy, which are becoming a fan favorite very quickly. The last one we did, he had the very quotable boom. Boom. A couple texters had the same idea, and I love the ideas I get from the text line because I wouldn't have thought of this myself. But somebody said you should mash that up with Trump from this morning when he dropped that F-bomb. I think that's what you should do. But I wasn't sure which way they wanted it, so I did it twice. Okay? So the first one, I think, is what they were going for. All right? So this is the first one. Trump this morning dropping that F-bomb.
Two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Boom.
You end with the boom. That's what but then I was like, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe they wanted it more in the middle where it's kind of...
Two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I prefer option 2.
You prefer the second one?
I would like to censor anything with just Matt Murphy saying boom.
That they don't know what the they're doing.
You think that's good?
That's great.
All right. I thought that one was a little bit more fun than the other one. I like the mic drop moment. Boom. I like this one too.
That they don't know what the they're doing.
Yeah, boom. Boom. So that's Matt Murphy. He's going to be catching back up with us here in about a week, and he'll be gracing our presence with medicated moments with Matt all week long. We'll be playing those at the top of every hour. Right now, though, it's time for one of my favorite segments during the day. If you don't usually catch my show 9 to noon when I do that, I do this at the end of every show. I call it the lightning round. Everybody loves it, and it's now time for the lightning round. All right, so in the lightning round, what we do is we run through all of the last-minute stories that we didn't get to or that couldn't fill up a segment on their own. Plus, we give you an opportunity to weigh in with your last-minute, lightning-quick hot takes. 615-737-9986. If there's anything we talked about that you took umbrage with, or if there's anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, now's your opportunity to do so. 615-737-9986. All right, first story up in the lightning round. RFK today, did you see that hearing? Did you see that? I didn't catch much of it, to be perfectly honest with you. I've been really consumed with some of the bigger stories going on, but I did catch this clip that's been circulating around Twitter, and it's so RFK, man, and I love it. I'm a huge fan of the Maha movement. I'm a huge fan of what RFK Jr. is doing to reform health in this country, just especially after what we've seen the past few years. I love it. I'm here for it. But he called out Congressman Pallone to his face for being bought and paid for by Big Pharma. And it was glorious. He said, bro, like a decade ago, you were with me in this fight on vaccines and people that had suffered injuries from vaccines, yet now you're on the complete opposite side of the fight, and the only thing that changed was that you got millions of dollars from Big Pharma. And it was a bit of an uncomfortable moment for that congressman.
And I'll address you, Congressman Pallone. 15 years ago, you and I met. You were at that time a champion for people who had suffered injuries from vaccines. You were very adamant about it. You were the leading member of Congress on that issue. Since then, you've accepted $2 million from pharmaceutical companies in contribution, more than any other member of this committee. Ooh. And your enthusiasm for supporting the old ACIP committee, which was completely rife and pervasive with pharmaceutical conflicts, seems to be an outcome of those contributions.
Mr. Chairman,
Point
of order. Point of order.
The chair recognizes
Point of order. The
Dr.
gentleman is impugning the reputation of a member of Congress.
If the shoe fits, if you took the donations.
Can you stop the clock for a second? Can you state the point of order?
Yeah. He was impugning Mr. Pallone's
Mr. Chairman, I didn't hear it. Did the gentleman?
Oh, you weren't paying attention. That's why.
Well, it's hard to pay attention here when we're not getting any responses.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, how convenient. I must have missed your answer when you were calling me out to my face about taking all these donations from Big Pharma and then changing my position on the same things I used to fight alongside you for. I missed it. Whoa. Oh, are you Robert F. Kennedy? When did you get here? It's so odd. What a convenient thing for to happen. You missed it. I missed what you said. Oh, okay. All right. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one's fun. We heard about the administration wanting to open up Alcatraz, and I love that idea. I think it's a symbol, and I think it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's pretty cool. But what about alligator Alcatraz?
Ooh.
Right? Like think about Alcatraz and how cool it is. Now add alligators. Right?
I like it.
Who says no? Well, the DHS has not said no. Department of Homeland Security has approved alligator Alcatraz for illegal aliens in Florida. This is a story that could only happen in Florida, and God bless them for it. The Department of Homeland Security approved an immigration detention center in Florida nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz to be built, according to a report from the failing New York Times. As Breitbart News reported, Florida Attorney General James Udemeyer initially pitched the idea to turn the virtually abandoned Miami-Dade Collier training facility into a detention center to house illegal aliens, which would be guarded by alligators and pythons. You had me at alligators, and now I'm really sold.
Pythons?
Pythons. Hungry ones. Only the hungriest. I don't want my pythons fed. He said, I think this is the best one yet. I call it Alligator Alcatraz. This 30-square-mile area is completely surrounded by the Everglades, presents an efficient, low-cost opportunity to build a temporary detention facility because you don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. He said if detainees were to escape, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. The New York Times said the facility would be composed of large tents and other planned facilities, and they say the cost on the state would be around $450 million a year to run. The remote facility composed of large tents, other planned facilities would cost $450 million a year to run, but Florida can request some reimbursement from FEMA, said Tricia McLaughlin, a spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security. In a post on X, Kristi Noem explained that the new facilities to house criminal illegal aliens would in large part be funded by FEMA's shelter and services programs. And I love it. It's kind of poetry where, FEMA was spending a ridiculous amount of money to house illegal aliens in the nicest of hotels, in the biggest of blue cities. And now they're going to be using that same money to fund Alligator Alcatraz. It's poetic, is it not? I love it. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one's kind of wild. Also from Florida. Miss North Florida. What would you consider North Florida?
Like the Panhandle.
Is that? But are there any big cities in North Florida?
Panama City.
All right, I would call her Miss Panama City then.
That's better.
Miss North Florida. She had her beauty pageant crown stripped away from her because she doesn't want dudes in women's beauty pageants. The absolute audacity of this woman. How dare she? How dare she? She said, I may no longer hold the Miss North Florida title, but I haven't lost my voice, and I will continue to use it, not in anger, but in truth, grace, and courage. Guys, Florida, what's going on? I thought Florida was like where woke went to die, right? I thought the big meme was that Florida is based in red-pilled and it's MAGA country. Apparently not. Apparently somebody needs to call DeSantis and get him on top of this. Florida Legal Group is demanding that the winner of Miss North Florida 2025 pageant have her title restored after she refused to sign a contract with the Miss America organization that states female includes biological males who have undergone sex change surgeries. Kaylee Bush was crowned Miss North Florida in August of 2024, but was stripped of her title in November over the wording in her contract, which she said violated her religious beliefs and also expressed concerns about Florida law. Liberty Counsel said in a press release that Miss Florida and Miss America organizations have refused to revise the contract twice and noted that Miss Florida competition begins on Wednesday. They sent a letter demanding that her title be restored in April. The organization noted that the contract initially given to Bush incentivizes child abuse in violation of Florida law due to many Miss and Miss Teen contestants being minors. I'm glad that she's taking a stand. I wonder why this is even happening in Florida. It seems like this is the last place you would expect to happen. I would expect this out of Miss North California, Miss North Massachusetts, Miss North Maine, all those places. Yeah, I would see it. Miss North Chicago, absolutely. Miss North Florida, no, I don't think this should be happening here, and I hope that it gets remedied very soon. But hey, shout out to Kaylee Bush for standing on business and not backing down. We need more of that. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. We're ripping through them, man. We're ripping through them fast. This was a bit of an update. Carmelo Anthony, that name may sound familiar. Maybe the name Austin Metcalf rings more of a bell. Now, unfortunately, with the way media reported the story, you're probably far more likely to remember Carmelo Anthony as opposed to Austin Metcalf. If you recall correctly, Carmelo Anthony was in the wrong tent at a track meet. He was asked by another boy to leave, at which point he said, "Touch me and find out what happens." A scuffle ensued, and Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest, left him to bleed out, dying in his brother's arms. It was a tragedy, one that should have never happened. And had the roles been reversed, it would have set this country on fire. But that wasn't the case. So it quickly got swept under the rug because it doesn't go along with the narrative. Well, Carmelo Anthony has been officially charged with first-degree murder over the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. Good. We need to see some justice served in this. Collin County grand jury has indicted that 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony for murder in connection with the fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet in April. Anthony, a former student at Frisco Centennial High School, was initially arrested and charged after the incident, which took place at Frisco ISD's Kuykendall Stadium. Metcalf, a student-athlete at Frisco Memorial High School, was killed during the altercation. Anthony was later released from jail, where his bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000. We all saw what happened in the aftermath of that. They fundraised off of it. The family got a new car. The family moved into a new house. And the family actually benefited off of it. It was actually rather insane. Anthony, all the while, has been claiming that the stabbing was an act of self-defense. It's going to be a tough sell when you bring a knife to a school and then claim self-defense. Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis addressed the public reaction in a statement Tuesday, saying, "We know this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond. That's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and with principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's exactly what this case deserves." Carmelo Anthony's attorney, Mike Howard, has responded to the indictment, calling it an expected and routine step in the legal process. I wonder if he's going to have the same kind of comments when the guilty verdict comes down. It's expected and routine. Now, there is video from the incident, and it says it washes away any kind of credible claim to self-defense that Carmelo Anthony has. But we'll be following this. They say Carmelo and his family are confident in the justice system and the people of Collin County to be fair and impartial. This is the same kid who his group, his friends were selling T-shirts free Carmelo online. This is the same. It's the same group of people that raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for this murder. It's insane. But they're confident that the justice system is going to be fair and impartial. Howard continued, "Of course, Carmelo looks forward to his day in court. It's only in a trial that a jury will hear the full story, one that includes critical facts and context that the grand jury simply didn't get to hear." I don't know if they're going to care once they see the video. I think it's going to be open and shut, but we'll keep you updated on that story as updates become available. That's been a fun segment of the Lightning Round. We ran through quite a few stories, and we'll have more for you tomorrow. It is 6:51. My name is Chris Hand. I'm filling in for Matt Murphy. Keep up with me off air. I'm on Instagram, True Social, and Twitter at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. 6:51, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 6:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Shout out to Ken Weaver, the newsroom. Shout out to Action Jackson producing the show. You've been fire all day, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Clutch. And shout out to Matt Murphy. Filling in for him all week. He's getting back up to speed, playing shape. You know, he's got a bit of a shoulder issue going on right now. Wishing him nothing but the best. And shout out to Matt for all of the medicated moments that we had today, and I expect many, many more tomorrow. That might have been the highlight of the day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
That they don't know what the they're doing.
Yeah. So that's what Matt's gonna say when he gets back. He's gonna be like, I know Chris was filling in all week, but you know, he doesn't know what he's doing.
That they don't know what the they're doing.
Yeah. We're trying. We're absolutely trying. But we don't know what we're doing. It's a work in progress. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, True Social, at Chris Hand on air. We can keep the conversation going off the air as well, and I appreciate you hit that follow button. I will follow back. I saw something real quick that I wanted to get to before we left. Joy Reid was on The Breakfast Club this morning. Joy Reid, the Breakfast Club is a big show. Do you know The Breakfast Club? Have you heard of The Breakfast Club?
I've heard of it.
It's a hip-hop show that's based out of New York, but they're syndicated everywhere, man. They're in every major city, Chicago, Atlanta, you name it, Vegas, L.A. They're all over the place. So when they have guests on, they get a lot of traction. They had Joy Reid on today, and Joy Reid decided to use her time on The Breakfast Club not to plug a podcast or a show or anything like that. She used it to promote Jasmine Crockett.
I've been a Democrat since I was old enough to vote, but I'm barely hanging on, honestly, because at this point, the party is not bigger than the future of my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have 3 children. I have, a daughter and 2 sons that have to live in this country as Black people. And fascism don't work for me, and I'm not willing to cede the country to Trumpism and MAGA simply because I'm clinging to this party. So people getting all mad at Karine Jean-Pierre for saying but I'm not mad at that, because I'm like, at this point, it isn't, who cares what the party label is? Give me an effective fighter. If Jasmine Crockett is the most effective fighter, give me Jasmine Crockett.
Give her Jasmine Crockett. Stop it right there. You're right. That's your most effective fighter. There's no other fighters that are better than Jasmine Crockett. By all means, you chose your fighter. Stick with her. No more talking about it. Got it? Good. Mark Levin's in next. What's he going to be yelling about? We'll find out together. 7 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.